Your name is Cheeky.
My name is Boombo.
Don't call me
Boom,
Cheeky.
boom.
Don't call me Cheeky. That's not my name.
No, it's a stupid TikTok thing, and it's like, my name is Cheeky, 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 Cheeky. My name is La 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 La. It's very annoying and quite addictive.
But do you not find that these kind of things take so long to research? Like, I'm sure there's trends going on in the YouTube world, and I watch a lot of YouTube. I couldn't tell you the trends. I could definitely tell you TikTok. Do you use a lot of TikTok?
Yeah, I use TikTok. I use TikTok all the time.
Wow, nice.
Bear in mind, I've got 146,000 followers for my dog,
Boom.
Bo, and
Big boys.
Geek Pride has only got about 600 now, though we're getting a few more using those pop quiz things, which you may see in one of these episodes as well.
Speaking of, smash cut transition. Welcome to the Hobby Hoarders podcast. I'm your host, Sam Lowry, and I'm joined by the meaty mountain of a man, Matt Geary.
Yo, bite ye.
Oh, you almost forgot. You almost forgot there, didn't you? In this podcast, we talk about all the things hobby related. This episode, we're going to have our usual chit chat. Then we're going to get onto the topic of our eureka moments in painting. And then, excitingly, these things in front of us. And admitting that once again, 2 weeks has flown past faster than we could believe. Although this man cheated, but we'll get onto that later. So, in 2 weeks in the hobby, apart from this gorgeous looking diorama that you've been working on, have you managed to do anything hobby related? Have you watched anything good? Have you seen anything? What are you recommending to the good people?
To be honest, I haven't, like, I only started this last week, and even then I only did, and then I only literally, well, actually pretty much when I sent that photograph to you.
Yeah.
And then I only did it because it's like, shit, Sam's coming tomorrow. I really should sort of, but that's maybe he's kind of around. But yeah. Apart from that, I've still got a few more sort of my Epic Waterloo stuff to do. I just haven't been in a sort of mind space to do very much, to be honest, recently and stuff. So I've not.
I mean, you were motivated after our podcast about motivation, or about mental health. Maybe we should do a podcast on motivation. You know?
Yeah, maybe. But I think it was just because I was doing a lot of the sort of kind of dating thing, and I was doing my meltdown and stuff, and it was just I spent a little too much time obsessing over that I didn't really.
I wonder if there's like a dating website for like nerds.
There is some nerd ones.
Nerd
there are some nerd ones, but they tend to be sort of like very sparse. I think everybody tends to go for your usual ones.
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? You're narrowing down your sort of pool deliberately.
True, but it's just not a lot of people.
Are you giving them a go?
I've given loads of.
All right,
I've been on every single dating site.
And which ones would you recommend to the good people?
None of them.
None of them. Oh wow.
But to be honest,
I mean, if a man,
I was going to do
6'3" successful, attractive guy doesn't do well in them, I'm not entirely certain how the rest of us
should
do.
You know how to flatter a man. You know?
Meet me a couple of years back, and you would have been exactly my type.
Yeah.
If we combined forces, we could easily pay the bills. We could imagine the nerd place we could have.
I know.
Come on, Matt.
That being said, my mate Kirsten.
I got a baby now. Like, we just get a divorce, we take the baby, job done.
My mate Kirsten was saying, like, when we were at the stag do, he was saying to me, he's like, we'd make the perfect couple. He's from Wigan. He's like, mate, we'd make the perfect couple. And I was just like, what? And he's just like, well, you know, you've got the dog and the geek stuff. You know, I've got the rock and roll and stuff. You know, just like we'd be brilliant together. If we were, if we weren't like that way, we'd sort of, take turns and all this stuff. And I was just like, what? He says, what are you talking about?
He'd gone beyond the joke and it was serious.
It was just like, if anything,
Is he a good looking lad?
He's a big beardy, old school rocker from Wigan and stuff. He's quite amusing. He used to be on the old podcast, but he's very he's kind of like the Wigan version of Carl Pilkington with a lot more hair. He's amusing. He's funny just because he's got some really strange views and things.
I was going to say, like, I don't know if you've got a word down here over in Ireland, but we have a word called DOS.
A DOS.
Yeah, so someone that's incredibly smart, but can be really DOS.
Yeah.
Like my friend Kirsty, she's fantastic person. She's kind of those people. She's attractive. She's tall. So is her husband Alex, attractive, tall, and both really successful. She's a cardio specialist. They're the kind of people that you want to hate them, but they're so giving and loving that you got to just accept them. But the reason I'm bringing this up it's not to crush on Alex and Kirsty, but because they are both really smart, but really DOS. So this woman can look at a child's heart and tell you what's wrong with the heart, but couldn't work out that when you're changing a watch and you change it to the other hand, the bracelet will reverse. So you have
Smart
to
with no
look at the
common
other day.
sense.
No common sense
Yeah.
whatsoever.
I've got-
Absolutely love them
It's
both.
like, it's like my dog. He's fucking intelligent, but he's a fucking idiot as well. So he just sort of like so he just got no. He's definitely DOS. But yeah, I was thinking about sort of doing an article because my Warhammer one is sort of kind of still like I've been talking about this for.
We had a
nearly month.
comment on one of the episodes that said, "I'd like to read that. Where's the link?"
Yeah, it's like thing is with that one is I got sort of halfway through it, and like Games Workshop have decided they've brought out obviously the squats, and then they're starting to bring out the points cost for free now and stuff like this. So it's like they're doing things that I kind of want them to do.
They heard our podcast. Change.
Yeah. But yeah. So it's sort of it's still there. I was having a moan to Davs in Games Workshop in Manchester about sort of codex creep and stuff like that, and he's just like, you know, man, and he's a very good salesman, is Davs and stuff. So he was doing his general Games Workshop thing, but I'm still going to write it, but I'm just sort of kind of trying to be. I don't want to be
unfair.
So I'm just sort of trying to sort
of. It's a giant faceless corporation. I don't think you could be unfair.
But it's because they're doing things. I'm like, so I will finish it. But yeah, I was thinking as another article, it would be a nerd dating, you know, at 40 and stuff, and how it feels and what you get into and stuff like that. And I was going to kind of go through because the different sort of.
I mean, we could do an episode on that if you want. It'll be the second episode you cry in, but you know, we can do another episode of it.
But it's, you know, with that again, it's sort of a mixture of, it wouldn't just be me having to go at other people and apps and stuff like that, because invariably it's you as well.
Yeah,
I think, you know, I find
you
that,
let other people change you as well when you know, you can't blame them for that.
Yeah,
like, you shouldn't stay with someone if you feel like
it's not even the relationships, it's just sort of the way you are when it comes to dating and stuff. And obviously you're not dated for a while because you know you're married with a child and stuff, but like, you know, for me, I've been on and off it for years, and you get sort of slightly, you know, you have this sort of, you start off with this sort of very idealistic view on how things should be and how it should work and how you want to be.
They'll accept you for you straight away just based on your profile saying you love Warhammer, and it'll be magical, but it's not true.
It's stuff like that. And then you become to a point where you turn into somebody you're not. So like I've deleted my apps and things that recently just to give myself a bit of a break.
Folks.
Yeah. You know,
you can still email us at hobbyhoarderspodcast@gmail.com.
And it was just sort of the point where I was sort of becoming just not unfeeling, because I still have that. I've got a massive guilt complex and stuff, so I don't like sort of doing anybody any harm or mischief and stuff like that. But I was just like, I was talking to loads of people at the same time, and I was going on multiple dates and things like that, and I don't like doing that because
it's a speed and time efficiency thing, isn't it?
It was, in my mind, it was literally trying. I was mathing it. I was doing like I would do in a war game. I was literally trying to. I'll start from that.
So your profile. So you said you deleted your profiles.
I had 3. So I was on Tinder.
So what does your profile say? Like, if I was to read it, could I tell that you were a nerd? Which is ironic considering, what is the slogan of your company?
Don't hide it, wear it.
And does your profile wear?
Yeah. So that's sort of I was, because I've taken a bit of a break from it, but I was on Tinder. I was on Hinge. I was on Bumble. I was on Facebook dating.
Yep. Didn't even know there was a Facebook dating.
Facebook dating. So I was on 4 of them. I tried like one of the heavy metal ones. I tried one of the nerd ones and stuff. I can't sort of remember, but I was on there, right? But there wasn't a lot of people on them.
So did you get any matches on the nerd ones?
Yeah, a few.
They just didn't go anywhere.
This wasn't really.
The thing is, shy nerds are always going to be hesitant going back and forth.
You know, some of them you could tell was sort of kind of, you know, a new company trying to sort of kind of show interest, get you interested in it, and
yeah.
But yeah, and then sort of generally my profile will say, So I start off with the important things: 6'3", Northern Irish. So you got to get
Just
them
so you know,
tall.
that's two measurements, 6'3".
6'3", uh, Irish. Um, 6'3", Irish.
I mean, as someone who reads, who uses all these apps, do you read the description, or do you think the vast majority of people don't, and they
I
just look
don't
at your
think
sexy
so.
photos?
I don't think so. To be honest, when it comes to
So maybe you need a photo of you like wearing your Iron Man helmet or something, like or holding the miniatures, holding most sporting, because
well,
that's the only
I'm
trophy
very
you've
open.
got.
So I say 6'3", Northern Irish. You know, and I think one of my lines is, despite the tattoos, I'm more Big Bang Theory than I am Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, but
Um,
that's you trying to be cute and funny.
yeah,
Where's the bit that goes that,
I do
you
say
know,
I generally say, I'm a bit of an I'm sort of like in Hinge and stuff. It said, what's the most nerdy thing about you, and I listed everything I was into and stuff. So
yeah,
it's like Lord of the Rings, Marvel, stuff like that. So like,
Warhammer
yeah,
40K.
sort of. Well, yeah, I put model making and things like that. So I said painting, model making.
Because painting, I know that everyone always assumes the cool one. When you tell someone painting, they're like, in fact, no, forget that. Not the cool one. They think of the paper version. We do the cool one.
I think
Look
when
at
I
this
was
trash.
when I was younger, I would have hidden it and stuff. But like, I don't, I don't think I overly hide that. My pictures are pretty much a mixture of me and my mustard waistcoat.
Cleans up good.
My
You
mustard
always
waistcoat.
look upper class. You really do
I've
look
got the
like,
country gentleman look. Sort
yeah.
of, I've got my country gentleman look, and then I've got my sort of
I bet your parents' home had like a roaring fire and like
yeah, I've got
good wood carved chairs.
yes.
And did it have wooden beams?
No, because it was my
No.
dad designed the house and stuff, but it was sort of
Architect, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it had a lot of wood, a lot of windows, and a big fire and stuff like that, and a massive table, wooden table with wooden
Thatched
chairs.
roof, you know.
No, no. Um,
Horses in a paddock.
thing is, it wasn't, my dad was an architect and stuff, so it wasn't sort of landed gentry and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was just, I think my
When you look at your photos, it looks like you are though.
yeah.
They
So
look
it's like
so good.
landed gentry, but like my uncle and my father were very much into sort of like waistcoats and things. My uncle, he was in the army.
Fedoras.
He had like knickerbockers and stuff like that. Sort of like he went proper country gentleman and stuff. So he had like the waistcoat, and he had sort of like high socks and things like that.
I
So
think that looks awesome,
yeah,
to be
so I think it
honest.
was so I,
I
I
think
and
fashion
flat
today,
caps and stuff like that. So um
they have razor blades in
no,
it.
but that was sort of that's one of my looks, and then there's obviously tattooed t-shirt, and then there's one of me with a Bazinga t-shirt, like this one I'm wearing and stuff, and
Yeah, but that's the cool level of nerd. I think we're still in the deeper nerd.
well, they ask, so when I get in conversations and they'll ask me what I want, and I'll just go, somebody I like, somebody I get on with, somebody who can accept that I have a slobbery dog and a cat, and because some people don't like pets, and one who can accept I'm a nerd. And generally, invariably, I'll get, well, what sort of nerd are you? And I went, have you ever watched Big Bang Theory? You kind of, have you ever watched Big Bang Theory? You know the way they're a bit like that. So I'm kind of like that, a mixture of all of them
Mm.
sort of together. And I like this, and I like this.
It's weird that they never did miniature gaming. They did D&D, but again, D&D is kind of the
They did Talisman.
sexy.
They did
Did
Talisman.
they?
Yeah, they did Talisman. And they played like
South
blood of
Park
card game.
has Games Workshop jokes in it,
Yeah, yeah.
and Zombie Side jokes in it.
So I'm pretty open about it. I'm not sort of like, I don't hide it.
You
I'm
wear it.
pretty much just sort of like, I pretty much say what I am and stuff and how it is. And some girls don't like that, and that's just the way it is. So again, it's not.
Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So it's just, if that's not their thing, that's not their thing. Um, but it's like, I have, I'm not trying to hide who I am, exactly who I am in my photographs. You will see that person in me and stuff. So there's the country gentleman things, which you see quite regularly on Instagram when I'm going out and things like that. Because I don't, I quite like wearing, especially my mustard waistcoat. I love that waistcoat. So I like that waistcoat. So I wear that a lot. Then you've got sort of like this sort of jeans and t-shirt look, and then there's my, when I'm in the gym, it's like a white t-shirt and sort of like, whatever. So I've got the versions of me that
Yeah.
are sort of there. So it's like, what you get, what you see is what you get and stuff. And then I'm very open about my, the TikToks and things like that. Though I had one girl who was talking to me for ages, And then she said, "Oh, so you've got a TikTok famous dog?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I showed her the TikTok, and then she came back to me and she went, "Oh, you don't look like your photographs." And I was just like, "Yeah, I do." And it's like,
I was gonna say you do.
yeah, I'm,
The
if
only thing could be there's like camera angles, and obviously you're closer up. Like
yeah,
nobody looks great when they're recorded like here.
yeah, it's like, so it's just like, in the end, I'm walking my dog in a field with boots, and I'm not really sort of, I'm
Dolled up,
dolled up
and the
and stuff.
lighting's not flattering.
Yeah, and
And
so it's just like, but it's just like, I I don't.
how much makeup should you? No, no, no.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
can't say
I think is,
that.
I don't.
Yeah,
Bar the
yeah.
odd
Just
Instagram filter and stuff. I don't sort of.
it fucked me right off when a girl went, "What's your height?"
Oh yeah, I get that all the time.
Which is fine for you because you're 6'3". I'm not short. 5'10" is ever so slightly above average, and everything is wonderfully in proportion. I'm very happy. Um, like you said that you had to put 6'3" in your profile. Like, why did you
I
feel like you had
think
to do
there
that?
is, as much as we live in a modern utopian society where everybody's meant to be equal, there is unfortunately still um old school, and I don't dislike getting stuff. I'm kind of old school in certain ways myself, but there's very much preconception, not preconception. There's what's the word?
Stereotype,
No,
expectation.
expectation.
Yeah.
There's an expectation that when it comes to messaging, the man has to message first. But it's
Mm,
like, if you want equal rights, then surely, now and again you do get some girls who'll message you first and stuff,
mm,
but very seldom. It's generally you have to message them first, unless it's Bumble where they have to message you first. But
yeah.
even it's hi, and then you do have to do
Oh,
most of the work.
Bumble. The
They have to message you first, but it's generally hi, and
the
then
the women have to,
yeah, the
or
women have to message first.
interesting.
Um,
Has that worked any better?
no, no, not really. I think again, it's just hi, and then you have to do all the work still, pretty much. And it's amusing because a lot of the profiles say, "I don't be boring and just say hi." It's hard when the first this, that's a completely different thing about dating, but
Yeah.
it's just like, the first what you say first and stuff. But I've completely forgot where we were on. So like, yeah, so there's this sort of kind of expectation that guys have to do this and guys have to do this, and they should expect these things, and it's just like, well, equal society, surely. And again, the height thing is like, I've had it a lot. It's just like, I cannot remember how many times I've been asked how tall I am.
Hmm.
And it's just because they want sort of a taller man and stuff. And it's like, well, I'm six foot
I feel
three.
like it's gross. Like it's.
No, no,
I think it's
my
awful.
sister, married to, it's smaller than her and stuff. And he's
Hmm.
an awesome guy. But she wasn't fussed about height and stuff.
Hmm.
Whereas a lot of women are. Like, I remember, my ex girlfriend goes, shit. One of the first things she asked me is like, how tall are you? Like, initially when we were sort of like talking, I thought this isn't going to work.
Hmm.
And then like half an hour later, I just got a random message, how tall are you and stuff, and just asking. And it seems to be important for a lot of them. It's like how tall they are, because they
So
want to
weird.
be smaller than you when they're in
Yeah,
heels
but
and
not
things.
even not even a little. They want you to be a lot taller. Like
Yeah.
how many women do you know that are tiny and the guy is huge? And it's interesting that guys have like a thing where, because I don't want to like date someone that's like way shorter than me. I don't understand why people would want that. Like, what do
I
you?
like smaller women. I don't know if I could
Do you
do.
think that's something in the genetics? Do you think it's like a thing where the human race is trying to balance its own
Yes,
height
it
out?
is. It is. So I did some research on this.
Or is it because you actually have a small penis?
Squirrel cock. I people like my friends, they all the time, they say it all the time when they're sort of trying to sort of like. I remember this is completely, we're going off in all kinds of tangents here, but I remember we were sort of back home in Northern Ireland, and we'd all sort of fancied this girl, and for ages, and I managed to sort of start, I was chatting away to her, and my mates were fucking well trying to sort of, cock block me and stuff, because everybody fancied her and stuff. So it's just like, and they were like, yeah, but he's got a squirrel penis, a squirrel cock. And instead of just sort of going getting all miffed and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I do. And yeah, I do. And she's like, well, I'll have to see that for myself. And I was like, so I was the one who ended up sort of
Yeah,
being with her for a bit.
that's hilarious.
But I just went, yeah, if they're going to try and cockblock you, just sort of make a joke out of it and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's just like there's this sort of expectation, um, and it's hard, and I think I when I said I might do an article about it, just sort of like the different dating apps and stuff, and their sort of isms and their pros and cons, and then
From
how.
the perspective of a nerd,
Yeah,
or
of
from
a nerd who sort of are, one a 40-year-old nerd who's sort of, thankfully not a 40-year-old virgin, but 40-year-old nerd.
was that Steve Carell that was
Yeah,
that
yeah,
video?
yeah.
Yeah.
40-year-old nerd trying to date, with a slobbery bear dog, and a.
Does the bear dog really put people off? I would have thought that
Yeah,
would have been something
yeah.
people would like.
Well,
Obviously, if they don't like dogs, but
bear in mind, um, some of them have, like, I've dated some girls who've got on really well with, but they're really super tidy and stuff, which is
yeah.
sort of like, that's fine. I like a tidy house as
I
much
should
as.
say you're pretty tidy. Yeah, the dog makes it messy,
Yeah.
but you're. I don't know about upstairs, but I haven't checked out your bedroom many times. But
I go through stages. Like, this room's a shit tip, but I will go through stages where I'll literally, and I cleaned yesterday. I was like, cleaning the kitchen, so I did the kitchen and stuff. But I go through stages, so I'm not. I know, because I've got a dog that fucking messes
Yeah.
everything up, and especially shedding at the minute, it's all the
Yeah.
time. So I just don't do it regularly, because there's no point in my mind. It's just not efficient for me to sort of waste time to sort of kind
Yeah.
of do that. So I do it in, like, intervals where I'll just kind of do blah blah blah. Where I have been with some girls who've been really really, like, massive neat freaks and stuff, and that has bothered them. My ex Gosha, she loved Boz, like, she, then when she sees him and stuff, or he sees her and stuff, there's very, you can tell there's a connection there. But I think it bothered her because she wanted to clean house every day. It had to be
Yeah.
specific, and I was like very much kind of aunt with a dog like
Yeah.
that and stuff. And you would meet women who would sort of be like that, and I've stopped dating women because I knew they were going to be like that and
Yeah.
stuff. Now, I know you should give everybody a chance. Problem you get is when you're my age and you've been through so many sort of points where things have happened to you,
Yeah.
you don't want to waste time anymore and go through that anymore. So you get to a point whereas your younger self would probably give people a chance because you've got time in your hands.
Yeah.
When you're 40 and you want to have a family and you want to get married and you want to do all that sort of kind of romantic Disney stuff, you don't have time to
Yeah.
sort of kind of be in another relationship that might fall apart after a couple of years because of you're a nerd.
Yeah.
And I've had a couple of them who I think who've known I was a geek,
Mm.
who've tried to accept it and then
Mm.
just not been able to and stuff.
I think
And
the only way to truly find someone that understands it is if their siblings or someone close to them was into it already.
yeah,
Like Claire's brother is heavily into miniature games, so
Yeah.
she sort of understands that. And obviously now I do the YouTube channel as well, and we do this, and she sort of just accepts that. It's
Yeah.
not, she doesn't begrudge me it. And I think a lot of people like say they accept it, but they don't realize. And you do Geek Pride as well. Like,
yeah,
how many hours a week is your week already locked off?
yeah. I've got a lot. When it's like my ex fiance, when I was in Denton,
Nani?
yeah,
What?
yeah, it would have been just before I met you.
Oh my
So,
God.
like, I was engaged to a girl for a few years, and one of her main sort of, at the end, there was a lot of underlying stuff there, but she said it was Geek Pride. Like, one of her last things was it was Geek Pride that
Yeah.
sort of caused it, and it was because I was spending a lot of time, and I knew that at the time because it was just at the start. This would have been 10 years
It's
ago,
one of those
something.
things though, is that growth did work out. It did pay off.
Yeah.
And you're not, this is not an insulting way at all, but you're not as dedicated as you were then.
Yeah.
Just because you've had so much happen to you in the last 5
Yeah,
years.
it's
It's completely understandable, but
yeah. So I think that for her, because I was literally on it, it was like a second job. So I'd
Mm.
come home and because it was sort of kind of, I was trying to build it, and it was literally a
you
second
never
job.
think of just making it a podcast and then just.
Yeah,
sort of-
we've cut down a lot
Yeah.
on it. So we got a new website, and it's mainly
I mean, do you even
podcasts.
need the website anymore?
No, because we do. I like blogging. I like
Yeah.
doing the odd blog piece, and we get a lot of free stuff. So there's a guy called Pete. He works for the BBC, and he does some other things, and he gets a lot of RPGs from sort of RPG companies and stuff. So he does a lot of reviews for that.
Yeah.
We get movie reviews and stuff to do. So there are reviews and stuff, and I like the odd blog
Yeah.
piece. And the blog pieces tend to have a lot of traction because they're
It's just
quite.
because of how much it is,
Yeah,
we were
so-
discussing it earlier.
Yeah. So I just sort of
It's just, I don't think you love, and I could be completely wrong, but you don't love anything as much as miniatures. Is miniatures and not board games your main sort of love of it?
The thing is, I love
I know the
board.
whole point is you love all things geek. I mean, that's what Geek Pride stands for. But have you
It
ever never thought of refocusing at this point so you can do battle reports and stuff like that?
I
Because
don't
there's
know because
still
there's so
time.
many. I know I will do stuff. It's just sort of
But then you're
there's
going to
so
spread yourself even thinner.
yeah. Well, it's like at the minute it's because so podcast this podcast on Saturday, Geek Pridecast on Sunday, maybe
Mm,
Monday, depending on guests and things like that. Um, D&D on Thursdays. So that's 3 days
mm,
effectively, sort of, where I'm doing something D&D on Thursdays. Within that time, um, I'm having to edit stuff for the website. I'm having to do stuff for the D&D thing. And there's obviously challenges and stuff. So there's a lot of my time just sort of
mm.
kind of does go down to sort of doing nerdy things. And
But is what it is now still considered under Geek Pride? Do you think that still it is what the original
oh, because
focus was, or do you think it would be?
when we first started,
Mm,
nearly 10 years now, we there was a lot of us. There was like 40 of us at
yeah,
one point in time. There was a lot of us, and I think we thought we could challenge like IGN or something
yeah.
like that. We could be this big news reviews, and it burned everybody out. I think, and there was a lot of people who left, a lot of people who were getting pissed off because they weren't getting paid.
After how long? Like how long did that sort of take?
It would people coming and going was
I mean,
some
how long did you have that core where everyone went hard on it?
a
Like, because
good
you went hard on it for how long?
3 or 4 years. I think we had sort of a lot of
Mm.
people who were sort of actively doing
And what
stuff.
made it not? What do you think? Like looking back,
I broke up. What the main thing was breaking up with my ex fiance and
right?
stuff. Knocked me off kilter slightly.
Which has been a bit of a pattern every time you've got a bit of momentum. That kind of
Yeah, so
sucks
it
that it's
knocks me
happened.
off because
Totally
I went
understandable.
through sort of instead because my the problem is because it's all voluntary because we do not make any money.
Yeah,
Like we'd make and I can understand why people were like, so why should I do this if I'm not making any money? I said you're doing it to try and create something that will eventually make money too.
yeah,
Then like we like it's cost me money over the years and
yeah.
stuff. I don't make
Thousands. Yeah,
I've spent a lot of money on this website and it's just like, any money that we have ever got has not gone in my pocket like ha ha ha
yeah.
I'll sort of I'll
I mean,
I'll
straight off
spend
the
this.
bat, just to give people a peek behind the curtain, this costs 108 to host a year.
Yeah,
You had to get extra microphones for this,
yeah.
and that doesn't even take into account, travel and stuff like that. So,
It costs
I can
money.
only imagine how much the website
Yeah,
costs
so the
you. Like,
website and the podcast and all the other things. There was at one point in time there was two podcasts and stuff because I paid for some other guys to do some podcasts with us and stuff, and there was all kinds of things. So it was costing me a small fortune. And then you'd have a lot of people who were sort of getting really arsy because they weren't getting paid. And it's
yeah,
like, I can't even pay myself. How am I
yeah.
supposed to pay you? And it's because they said, well, you've got a good job. I said, yeah, but that's my day job and stuff. I'm paying out of my own wages to pay this. And I can understand if
Well,
they
and they
don't.
wanted you to pay them from your
Yeah, or
salary.
they wanted sort of like a certain amount. And the best I could do was if there's freebies, and the
Yeah,
only freebies I have ever got from the website is this table
yep,
because I actively went out and said I would sort of try and promote it, and we tried our best, but obviously again shit happened and stuff like that. So Geek and Son, the table and stuff. Um, that Iron Man helmet up there, which my friend sorted out for me, and I did a review on the website for, and it's got like 10,000 views or something like that. So obviously, and see that green Master Chief up there.
yeah,
That that's the only. That literally probably the only freebies I've ever got from thing. I know this is a big thing, but
yeah.
it wasn't one I
I
was.
mean, you had loads and loads of games and
Yeah,
stuff
we got
coming through at
we've
one
had
point.
loads of stuff over the years, and
What
I
made
don't.
that stop? Was it the guy in charge of it is
No,
left?
the guy. There was a lot of stuff. It's just time and people who do things now. I'd say if it weren't for Pete,
Mm,
who's real, he's a freelance journalist anyway and stuff, so he writes for a living and stuff. If it weren't for him, um, and Josh, who does a lot of the sort of kind of background, PR type things to get stuff for us, we probably wouldn't be carrying on as we are and stuff. Because they've been very good at sort of keeping things going. Because they're those two and a couple like Mark, some of the ones who have been on the Dungeon Dragons are the ones who've stuck around and are actively helping and stuff.
Yeah.
Now and again, you get people who throw stuff in, into the group, and but we're not as serious as we were back then. It was like we have to have new. I was panicking because there was new news out and I hadn't put it on the website, and I had to sort of keep on top of things, and it was really causing problems. And we'd have lots of people who put on stuff, and we were getting bigger, and then because of that, there was expectations that things should happen. Because they weren't, people started falling out. I was getting I had this things like you have to write 2 articles a week. You have to there was prerequisites of what you had to do.
Yeah.
And because there was no prerequisites, people were kind of going, well, I want to be paid and I want this. And I was like, I can't afford to pay you.
Did you show them like the fact that it was
I
negative?
tell them, and I'd had things, and then there was falling outs and stuff, and it got to the point where people started using the site as just a way to promote their own shit.
Yeah.
And it was upsetting me because I was just like, I don't even promote my own stuff, let alone sort of like and so there was a few fallings out and stuff. Like I've got no grudges against anybody in the sort of thing. They've all given time and stuff, and I'm quite a mellow chap, but it was just sort of, it was getting too stressful, and I got to the point that after the last sort of massively bad relationship that I just kind of went, I can't keep that up anymore and stuff, and it shrunk quite considerably.
Yeah.
It's only more recently where I went, right, instead of having just everything, we're not going to really focus on news anymore. There's no point. Like you said, we're not going to, like in this podcast, we're not going to be able to keep up with it. We don't even know what's going on. So
I just think for podcasts, it's not like
Yeah.
news doesn't make sense as much. Whereas blogs, it's a great sort of history.
The thing is, there's lots of like, we're not big enough to sort of kind of it's not important. So what we'll do is we use the Facebook thing. If anything important comes up, Facebook, you can put a photograph up and this has happened, and that works. But it's generally the D&D, blogs, the podcast, and some reviews that we get in, and that's kind of our sort of thing that we do now. That's sort of kind of our main sort of thing. The podcast seems to be doing quite well. We had like 500 downloads last month, and it's sort of so it's just sort of it is, and we're on like 200 at the minute. It's only like,
well, what is like the goal? Like, how do you plan on doing the podcast? Like this podcast, I do it because I genuinely really enjoy our chats. Like when we had that hiatus because of illness and baby, and I really missed it. And so like this doesn't cost. Yeah, there's the £108 a year. It's not that much in the grand scheme of things, and I get enjoyment out of this. But I would also like to grow it. Like I would like to create a community where we paint things together, because that's the thing I always miss. Challenges are something that always puts me. I put a video up recently about motivation, and that's something that really motivates me, seeing other people's stuff. And it's fine when other people are just painting stuff, but when we're working as a cohesive unit, that's what really zhuzhes me up. So that's one of the things I want this channel to be. I also want to, Patreon, nice to make money. It's a nice idea. If people wanted to,
we're gonna maybe steal your idea and sort of for Geek Pride, because it's just sort of I've been toying with Patreon for years and years and never done it and stuff. But it's like I just need to think of a way to incentivize without overworking myself and stuff.
Well, it's just you record an extra 30 minutes.
I don't even think we're going to do the extra. We were going to do it where we would, instead of having one every week, like we would do one. We'd do one every week and then have the spare one, maybe one with the guests, as the free one, or maybe the one where it's just us talking shit. There's kind of the one for Patreons and stuff. But then it's like, but we get quite a lot of interaction from lives. From people in the one where we're just chatting shit, whereas the guest one.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is you just record it, and then you stop live casting it, click on start record, and then that extra 30 minutes is literally the bit that you put on Patreon. That's what we do here. We have a 30-minute section where we talk about things that we love. We talk about an idea in gaming, or a tutorial, or something that we've seen, or a memory that we want to share with just the patrons. And, we already make 2.5 hours for free every week, so that's 5 hours for free on YouTube and on all good podcast sites. And then we have the extra stuff just as a thank you to our patrons, which we very much appreciate, because like that right now, the 2 people that are on there, they help towards that £108.
Yeah, well, it's just something.
Oh,
This,
we don't. We never dream that this would be a job.
yeah.
That's not what
Well,
this.
that's it. And
Not what
again,
we're trying to
a
make
Geek
it.
Pride was just it was a principle. It was just sort of like, it was literally, I walked out of Games Workshop and went, I am sick and tired of having to hide who I
Yeah.
am. And I went, you know what? I just want to write about stuff like this, and I want to do it. And it just sort of grew as people latched onto it and stuff.
Did you think maybe it was a lack of that end vision? Like I have an end vision for this podcast. Did you have an
Yeah.
end vision for Geek Pride?
My I think partially my problem is I had an end vision and I had a goal, but I micromanage, and it was
Draining for
wearing.
them and
It,
draining for them.
yeah, it was draining for everybody involved, I think, and especially at the
I
start.
also think that's how you have to be. I
You
think you
have
do
to. I
have
think if
to
you want to
be.
be things serious, you have to have
Yeah.
certain rules in. And I did it. I said you have to write X amount of articles. You have to do this, and you have to do this. And I said it at the start. If you want to join, it's voluntary, but you might get some freebies. Basically, I'm thinking I don't, whatever you want some freebies. You get some freebies.
Yeah.
um and you'll get, what if you want to sort of try and review certain things, we'll try our best to sort of use the website sway to sort of do this. It's like
Exactly. Like if you wanted to get like this table, then they could have been self motivated to use Geek Pride's power that they'd
yeah.
sort of helped cultivate to get
And
something.
I the thing is, like, I was very open if people were trying to get certain products and things to review, as long as they weren't taking the piss. Like,
Mm.
I would find it slightly annoying that people would sort of not tell me about things, and they go and they'd use my name or use Geek Pride's name to get things, and
Wow.
then you wouldn't get anything out of it and stuff.
Yeah. They
When
wouldn't make you an article
Yeah, and,
or
and that annoyed me because it was just like, there's very much a case of, if you're going to abuse the system, you need to sort of give content that's
yeah.
going to be good for them and for us. And there was a lot of people who weren't doing that, and that caused friction, as because they would use it to go to conventions and things like that, and then not provide
Yeah.
or things where it's like everything everything. So there's video about this. There's a review that there's a very good video for that, and there's a good video for the Halo stuff that I got. And I made effort to sort of make sure that when I got anything, that they got something back, and it was of good quality, and it wasn't a half-hour sort of thing.
Mm.
And some of them would just get things, want stuff, and then you just didn't get anything back, and it was
Yeah.
that annoyed me.
And would you
But
say that's one of the biggest difficulties as
I
a creator, as someone who's trying to, I don't know, a small business owner sounds grandiose, but at the end of the day, you were managing people. The product was you, so you were or are a
yeah,
small business.
yeah, well, it was like a small business to start off with.
Mm.
And I'm very mindful that we start off about dating now. We're talking about Geek Pride, but yeah, it started off as a business, and I ran it kind of like a business.
Mm.
And I understand people's frustrations, because there was a lot of people and money came up so much more than I thought it was. I was being very idealistic about it. In my
Yeah.
mind, it was very much about sort of, it's
We
not,
work together
yeah,
to.
just
You were
create a
trying to
big.
found a movement, basically.
It said I hated it when people say it's your website. It says it's not my website, it's our website
Yeah.
and stuff. I'm just trying to drive it forward
Yeah.
and stuff. And we're so, a lot of people would sort of kind of, and I understand some of them didn't have great jobs. There was a girl called Erin, who I'm friendly with, but it's like she's kind of stopped doing, because she was a waitress in America, and they get paid shit anyway and
Yeah.
stuff, and so it was very important for her and stuff. She didn't want to waste time doing something that she wouldn't get paid for. It's just like, I can't afford to do that and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I think people thought, well, you've got a good job. And you say, but I spend so much money on this website already. I'm losing money as it is.
Yeah.
If I was getting money in, and then any sort of small amounts of money that we got in was eaten away by the fact that it just had to pay for overheads.
Yeah.
And they didn't sort of understand that and stuff. And I understand if they wanted to leave because of that, but they were told at the very start it's voluntary.
Yeah.
And the idea is that when more money comes in, then we can start paying for things and stuff. Now, it never happened partially because I had to stop micromanaging things.
I think one of the things as a small business owner, it always comes down to money, doesn't it? It's not only just time investment that you're putting in, but also other people, when you start acting like a business, they think they should be paid like a business, which is not
Yeah,
unfair.
yes, exactly. And again, I don't hold any grudges against anybody. Um, in the past, there's been some people who've
Being a bit
I've
shady.
had to get rid of because they've done something, said something racist, or they've done something unacceptable.
Yeah.
But in general, um, I feel bad because there's some of them, and I'm not naming them, but I sort of kind of semi fell out with them, and I don't fall out with many people
Yeah.
just because they were causing me a lot of stress at a time when I was having problems with my ex, and I was sort of it wasn't a great
You
time
didn't
for
have enough mental
yeah,
energy to
and
sort of
and
handle
my
it.
dad was cancer, and there was all kinds of stuff going on, and I was just like, I didn't have the capacity to deal with their bullshit and stuff at
Yeah.
the time, and I appreciate they were just sort of doing best for them at the
Any
time.
friends with any of them
Well, no,
anymore?
it's like some of them, have befriended me on Facebook and
Yeah.
things like that, and that's fine. That's just the way it is, and it's one of those things you can't please everybody.
Mm.
You can't be friends with everybody, especially I find when you're running a website and stuff, you are going to piss people off because
Yeah.
you want and I would have to be the person who had to chase people for things, and because everybody thought it was mine and not theirs, and I tried to sort of,
Foster this
yeah,
idea
and this
of
is the one good thing about having Pete
unity.
on board and things like that, because it's his as well, and it's
Yeah.
something it is his thing as well, and it's very much, some of them they're like this is their thing, whereas all the other ones it was just like, some of them they write articles because that would get them a bit of exposure,
Yeah.
and they had their own sort of reasons for doing it. But again, if you're not getting paid, then that's
Yeah.
fine. I accepted that, but there was a lot of turnover of people because they would say, we're not getting a lot out of this, what we want, and we're not getting paid. So there was a lot of arguments about money, a lot of arguments about things, and it's just like, and I was trying to be as upfront and balanced about it as possible. If you want free things, try and get them, and then we can sort of do, we'll do reviews or whatever if you want. But you have to be proactive and stuff, and I can't do everything for you because it's just me, and I have a full-time job, and I have to do all the editing, and I have to do all this. So like,
Admin and managing. It
yeah,
always made me sad that I never got to do more because the thing I wanted to do was go play games with you as a
yeah,
friend and as a
yeah, yeah,
creator. We were gonna do I can't even remember what is or no, it was
yeah,
Welcome to, and we did 3 games, and then obviously things started to go a bit haywire. But
yeah. And
it was requiring your time.
it's just like I was overstretching myself, and because I was trying to be something bigger than what I was, and it was good for the, it was good. We had a lot of good times, and I've met a lot of very nice people.
Mm.
I've got a lot of friends from Geek Pride over the years and stuff. Some I'm still friends with now and stuff. And they are great people. And even if they don't write for us anymore and stuff, I would, call them friends and stuff. So, and I personally think there's a lot of them who are friends with other people from the Geek Pride because of Geek Pride and
Yeah.
stuff. So in my
Any
mind,
couples?
no,
Some
no,
dating, but no
no,
couples.
no.
Oh.
Um, and there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of sort of love there. Like there's a girl, cause a girl called Hanny, who was pretty much there from the start, and she died of cancer a few
Oh
years
my
back.
goodness.
And it was heartbreaking. I was just sort of because I have very fond memories of her and stuff, and I remember her at the very start when we
Yeah.
first started. She's very quiet, very sort of meek, but she did certain things every year.
Yeah.
She always did like the Oscars, and she always did things like and it was just sort of and or she'd do E3 and stuff, and she'd do things, and she'd just pop up at conventions. So unfortunately, she died. She was only like she late 20s, early 30s, and stuff like that.
Oh
She's very
my,
young,
that's.
and
I mean, it shouldn't make that much difference, but it does. Like when you
yeah,
hear someone 70, 80, you're like, well, it's sad, but it's not. But
yeah.
when you hear someone
And I've got
20,
very
30s, it's
fond
just
memories of her.
awful.
So we did I did an article about her and stuff, and it's pinned on the website and stuff. And it's just like, friendships like that. People. That's a good part of it and stuff. But it's
Yeah.
just like it was just too much work for me.
The thing is, you can't change now. It's 10 years, like that you've spent, and like you said, look for the good things.
Yeah, and
That
it's
it's
just
been.
I've gone from trying to take over the world or trying to sort of take the world by storm to just doing something that it should have been in the start of an outlet to sort of voice opinions, and like the podcast, like this podcast is very good because it's very sort of therapeutic in a way because
Yeah.
you can get a lot out of your
It-
uh
It's, it's voicing things that other people have in their head that you
yeah,
don't necessarily have time or the energy to discuss, you
Yeah.
know.
It's very therapeutic, and like I'm sort of um
And imagine your other one is therapeutic, but maybe in a different way, or it's a creative outlet.
yeah,
You know, the Geek Pride podcast. It has so many topics. It gives me whiplash.
yeah,
It's it's more of one though that I think is topical,
yeah.
if
Oh,
that makes sense.
it's very much down to what's happened that week and what people are sort of talking about, and it'll sway from just purely nerdy stuff to politics and science
Mm.
and yes, having Pete's been really good because he's really good at getting guests on. Like I've got ideas of guests on, and every now and again I'll get one in, but he's just perpetually because he knows a lot of authors and he knows a lot of people and stuff. So we've had a lot of good authors in and stuff. You know, some of the Black Library
I
guys,
mean, I would love to have him
Gavin Thorpe
pull
and stuff.
someone over
Yeah,
to this channel.
yeah,
Like,
Gav
if we
Thorpe
can,
and stuff. You know,
I don't know, Gav Thorpe, if you're listening, I don't know what we could do for your career. There's absolutely nothing we could do for you apart from meet two avid fans, and you've already met this one, so I doubt you need that.
but it's good, you know. You just you get like it's good to sort of have that sort of out, and you're meeting new people. So having the guests is it's great. So the podcast has become more of a priority, I think, because
Yeah.
it's sort of working and it doesn't need as much work. I don't like you spend a lot of time editing this. So you're every time we're doing something, you're pressing a button. You're sort of
But I'm also laughing my head off when I'm
yeah,
editing it. For me, like I edit this while sitting on the sofa with my wife watching TV, you know,
yeah,
so it doesn't take that much energy to do it, you
yeah.
know?
Whereas I just sort of we live stream and
Mm.
I just I put the intro song at the start, intro song at the end. If there's anything really bad that I know's in there might come out, but in general it's literally just doot
Yeah.
MP3 and then I deal with socials and stuff like that. So
I mean, the main idea was at the beginning. It was because I wanted to do, I wanted to do like photos and have stuff like that. But as we're moving away from news and stuff like that, there's less and less need for pictures. The
yeah,
only pictures that really matter are these
yeah,
ones. So, and I'm gesturing at the two dioramas on the table. Which I mean, it feels like it doesn't necessarily need to. So maybe this will become a live stream one at some point. But it's
yeah.
also convenient not having to do it at the same time, sort of thing. And you know, I can get it edited for a different day. I don't know. Maybe we will become a live stream one at some point.
Live streaming has its sort of I think one thing because we have ours and we have comments on the side, but you do get some assholes who come in and start throwing in random comments, and you're just like you having to delete them and stuff
Yeah,
like that. So, um, I like it because you get interaction, and there are people who they know because you're going to interact with them watch you more regularly. So there's a
yeah.
guy called Alistair who's one of my mates who's sort of in all the time. There's a couple other ones who say they watch it all the time and stuff, and they're sort of like they'll throw in questions and stuff like that, and it's good. So I think that might be one of the sort of Patreon ideas instead of having just on Facebook or Twitter, or not Twitter, Twitch
Do the bonus episode as a live stream. Yeah,
or
that's
something
a
like
great
that,
idea.
or you could just have sort of like a specific channel just for people who are patrons, and they're the only ones who can ask the questions and stuff like that. So it's
Well,
just
that's
like
what Patreon is.
yeah, so
Patreon, you can submit questions, do
yeah, so
polls.
maybe do that and stuff, but but yeah, so um, it's just I get burned out. I have a very high sort of kind of like I go sort of like yes, let's do this, and I've got a lot of good ideas and ways to implement it. And I'm not a bad people person, manager and stuff. I'm not bad at managing people, but I'm very much a case of if I don't do something myself, it might not get done.
Yeah.
Especially if I was paying people. And this thing is, if
This
I
is the irony of someone who agonizes over models and never finishes them.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly that's it. Yeah, the irony of it all. But if I was paying people, I'd expect
yeah.
things to be done. And I reckon, if it was a job and I was paying them money and they weren't doing it, then I'd be just like, well,
Did you ever consider it, like paying like X amount per article, or
I didn't have the funds for it and
yeah?
stuff. I did was never something I got
It's
to
one
the
of those
point.
things. It's like I always think editing. I enjoy editing, but it's one of the hardest things. I don't think I do it particularly well in my own videos. Whereas I could pay someone £50 a video, and that to me is becoming more and more tempting. £50, it's a lot of money, especially every week. That would be like £200.
Yeah,
Once I've paid off a loan or something, maybe that I could reinvest that money. Like if I want this channel to honestly grow, I think that's something I would need to do.
yeah,
Not the editing the podcast. Editing a 4-hour podcast would cost a lot of
well,
money.
yeah,
But editing
yeah,
my 10-minute videos, so like, I would probably edit it, then give it to someone and say, "Look, make this better, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like painting. Like one of the things. Oh, he's brought it back to the hobby. But like painting, like, do you never wish that someone had painted it and then you could do the last 10%, or vice versa? You've done all the mental energy and you just don't have that oomph to get it over the finish line. Would you not like to pay someone to get it over the finish line?
No.
No, we've already talked about this.
You know,
You
I'm like
wouldn't trust someone with any, like, just the base coats. You wouldn't trust someone, or cleaning or building the models.
building the models, yes.
Okay,
Building the models, yes.
interesting.
Because building for me is the worst part of the hobby.
Mm.
I like it now and again. If it's a small one-off thing
Yep.
that I'm building, I
Yep.
enjoy that because it's something I'm being creative. If I'm mass building things, I
Yep.
hate it. I hate it. It gives me no
That's
joy.
why Waterloo's taking so long.
Yeah, it gives me no joy. It just makes me feel slightly like
Stress.
I hate it. So yeah, somebody building stuff for me in mass,
Yeah.
I haven't got an issue with.
One of my dad's favorite uh chat up lines, shall we say, is he would go up to someone and he'd be chatting to them and he'd be like, "Would you sleep with me for £100?" They'd be like, "Absolutely not. What do you take me for?" And he'd be like, "Okay. Would you sleep with me for £1,000,000 and a Lamborghini and this and this and this?" And eventually they'd be like, "Yeah, I probably would." My dad would be like, "So there is a price." And that works as a chat up line. He never paid anyone, but it works as a
Is that
chat
how your
up line.
mum? Is that how your mum came on board?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
But yeah, man, it's something that it upsets me. It's a bittersweet thing because I've met a lot of nice people. I've met you. There's some long lasting friendships that I've got out of it. And it's still going, and it's not,
And
it's
you mentioned that before, that you're not a quitter, and I think that's. But were you not tempted when the website went down to rebrand, like not kill Geek Pride, keep Geek Pride, but rebrand it as a podcast, and then get yourself that out to do like live streaming of tabletop and stuff like
yeah.
that?
Well,
Because do you not think if you were more focused, it would have grown faster?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a lot of things, it was sort of thinking too big, too fast. Obviously not having the resources to manage it properly. Not having, if I had if I had £100,000, not even that, if I had £50,000, I could have maybe made a good thing out of it and at
Yeah.
the start, just sort of kind of being able to pay people. I've been able to sort of get things that I had the vision done without having to panic about things because I'm paying people, therefore they
Yeah.
have to do them or they're not getting paid, basically.
It's funny that you say that, though. You mentioned that a few times. Have you headed up a team at all in your sort of career?
Yeah, I ran a fraud department in when I worked for an insurance company. 160 people, I think.
Shut your face.
Yeah.
What?
I sort of so
Why are
basically,
you paid so low? Oh
yeah,
my god.
and so I had
I
so
was gonna say, because I had my own shop and I've run teams for various companies, from a small company to
like,
a
don't
big
get me
company.
wrong, I was just a
But never
man.
that
I was
many.
just the fraud manager for who was in charge of the fraud for those people and stuff. I was like, they had their own their own managers within their teams, but I had my own. As long as that, I had my own team as well. So I had my own team. I looked after fraud for the department and
You
sort
sound
of.
grossly underpaid. Is that just what it's like being in a lawyer's place but
Well,
not being a
this was
lawyer?
insurance, but they give you good benefits, you see. So they need pensions, fucking awesome, man. Plus you got
Yeah.
free shares. Like I missed the gravy train that was that insurance company because you gave them 8, they gave you 12, so you're getting a 20% pension plus
Nice.
free shares plus a very good sort of like all these other things on top of
Was
it. And
this
it's
the
like,
one that made you redundant?
yeah, I got made redundant. With the redundancy was good. I got a month for every year I was in the company, and I was in there for like 8 years, I think. So I got 8 years. I got 8 months pay.
Wow. I mean, that's your 15 grand right there. You
Plus
could have used it.
plus shares. I was debating using that for that and stuff,
Really?
but because I was going through
Is that
the
one of the moments in your life that you? The reason I'm going to ask you this, and we'll put a pin in that just to come back to, is I feel like I made one of those life mistakes, and I'm kind of not sure, and I'd be interested to see your sort of perspective. So obviously, I'm starting this channel. I started the channel because I've always wanted to, and I should have done it in lockdown. I should have done it a lot earlier in my life. But every time it was just never the right time. Whereas when we were pregnant, I knew that if I didn't start this before baby arrived,
it wasn't happening.
it was never happening. So I decided to do it. And so like a couple of weeks ago, we needed things are tight at the moment, and we needed like breastfeeding wasn't working out. So we decided that we needed to go down the bottle route. And we needed a sterilizer, because trying to wait for the kettle to boil and then waiting 20 minutes and then getting the temperature, it's not possible when you got screaming babies. So we bought this machine. £150, something like that. Now, you might know what was on this weekend. Is it this weekend? It's still on the weekend, or was it last weekend? One of the weekends was the Horse Heresy weekend, wasn't it?
That's this weekend.
It's this weekend. So it's one of these massive launch events. Oh, darn, maybe I should still try and go. But basically, I had the choice of buying a ticket for that or buying this sort of sterilizer that I needed. And loads of big YouTubers have gone. Like, if you check your Instagram just now, it's sort of flooded with all the different stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
And I just keep thinking to myself, am I going to really, really regret this? Because I'm not big enough to really
the
rub the
problem you
shoulders.
have, man, is priorities, and this is where it's life priorities. And I don't think it's all well and good to think about these things as bad decisions, as crucibles of history that sort of have shaped your thing, but your priority is your child now, and that's the thing. It's like, I appreciate you're trying to create something that you want to be bigger, but in the end, your child wouldn't have had that sterilizer, and so it's not a bad decision.
But you
It's
can
a
always put it
decision.
in credit card.
I know,
more in
but
debt.
it's one of those things. Like, at the time, you had to make the decision that's best for you, and I think that is. It's not. It's all well and good to look back in time and stuff. Like, at the time, I was getting money for the redundancy, but the thing is, I just broke up with my ex.
Yeah.
I had to buy the house off her. There was a lot of shit going on, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times where it's literally been that, or I've blown money. I've gone off the rails slightly because of, when my dad died. I went off the rails slightly. I wasted a lot of money. Just doing stupid shit and stuff. And I regret that, but I don't, because it gave me certain things. So it's like, if I had done this, then this could have happened and things. But it's just, I think if you go too far down that rabbit hole, you do your mind. It's just like, you've got this, you are where you are now, and you just sort of kind of make those decisions.
Yeah, but this is a mistake that's literally ongoing. Like, I could still maybe go. Maybe I could get a ticket.
You're a father now, though, and it's just one of those things, isn't it, man?
And also, I'm only 1,000 subscribers. Like, I'm nothing. These people are 100,000.
I know, but 1,000 subscribers in 2 months?
Well, now it's May, so it's quite bad. But the question is should I, would it have come? Like, as someone who's worked in so many different industries, I know how important networking is. And like, if you're like just a commenter on their YouTube video, they won't have a clue who you are. If you email them out the blue, they won't have a clue who you are. But if I went and met them there and was like, "How you doing? I'm Sam. I got this."
I would say, like, going to conventions and things like that helped us a lot, because you got your name about, and you would meet new people. And it's the same with the podcast now. Getting guests in and stuff like that, your name's coming about, and you're meeting new people.
Yeah.
They know who you are, therefore, when you're, it sort of helps out, and people sort of kind of recognize you, and it does help. So I understand that the networking thing's very important, to get your name about. But again, your child does need it. It kind of needs it. It's things, or
the next one, there'll be a next one.
Yeah.
That's what Claire said to me. She says, "Look, there'll be the next one. You'll be bigger, you'll be better prepared, and you'll go and you'll knock it out of the park." And I was like, when is Games Workshop launching a new miniature series?
Yeah, but I think we 10th edition there'll be a 10th edition coming out.
It's not the same as launching a new miniature line. I mean, this is the Horus Heresy now becoming mainstream. Like, that's what this is.
This is them trying to get all the sort of old Marines, so like people, okay, we're not going to use these in the in 10th edition as it comes out, but you can still use them in Horus Heresy.
I mean, you've got Miniac, you've got Vince Ventura, you've got all these people from other countries that, when is there going to be a better chance to meet them? As you can tell, I'm not over. I wish it had been last weekend, so it was out of my head. I wish you'd said like last weekend. I wish you'd lied to me.
Still, I reckon, UK Games Expo, which is coming up in June. We're going down because Pete sort of like press passes from Ray and him. Again, he's very good. He's like my PA. He just sort of does things. So you should maybe get yourself one for your try and get a press pass.
But what's that got to do with miniatures?
It's a UK Games Expo.
It's miniature games. I thought it was video games.
No, UK Games Expo. Have you never been to UK Games Expo?
I have not.
Oh, mate.
And this is on the bank holiday weekend?
Yes. UK Games Expo is...
I think you got a B to get a pass.
I don't know.
If I'm too small, buddy.
No, but the thing is,
buddy.
Well, the thing is, I could try, but it's just like, we've already ordered the passes and stuff, but it's like, we get on it, check, we know one of the guys who helps run it actually was on our podcast and stuff. So he sort of said, if you get any, so if push comes to shove and you really want to go, I can ask him. I could ask for a favor, because
this is miniature. Oh my god!
I can't believe you've never seen. Dude,
I'm not very good at this.
This is really bad. This is really bad. Oh, I've knocked this. This is really bad, Sam. You have this is a podcast about miniatures, and you run a YouTube channel
Yeah.
about miniatures, and you don't know one of the biggest tabletop gaming expos in the country.
How long are you going for? Are you getting a hotel and stuff? Or are you just driving?
No, because I'll drive.
Where's
It's
it?
at Birmingham, NEC.
Birmingham. How far is that?
On an hour and 40, hour and 50, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, maybe we could team up and go.
Yeah. So
Maybe
if you want to
we could do a live stream of the Hobby Hoarders podcast there.
we do a Geek Pridecast there and stuff. So I bring my camera and stuff.
Oh,
or
yeah.
we could do Hobby Hoarder as well.
Oh my goodness.
And
how many days do you go for?
I usually go for 2 days. It's open for 3.
Yeah.
I can't do the Sunday now because I'm selling stuff at Warboot on the Sunday. Hopefully, probably stuff that I've bought there. Yeah, it's 3 days. I probably go on the Friday, which is probably going to be less busy. Saturday's going to be very busy. I met him, the creator of Games Workshop,
Ian Livingston.
Ian Livingston. I met Ian
Wow,
Livingston. We interviewed
that's
Ian Livingston
cool.
there and stuff.
Oh yeah, because you didn't take Warplock on Firetop Mountain.
Yeah, so it's like we were there. So he was there. Last time I was there, and like it because it was COVID. It's not being sort of. They did one. Well, we were just one last year. But this year it's full on. And
how do you get like interviews with someone like that? Do you
go up and talk
do it
to
in advance? Or you just literally go up, talk to him, and say, "Can I interview you on
they're
camera?"
just there in the stalls and stuff like that. And it's just sort of like in the end, man. It's not like these guys are. It's not like these guys are big for tabletop gaming.
Yeah.
So they don't have that ego. But I still can't
It's
believe.
funny that you were going to say that because I literally was going to say to you earlier when you were talking about interviewing authors, nicest people. There's no ego about them, even though they've written and created something amazing. Actors, though, what a bunch of tossers! Oh my goodness! Like you made facial expressions. You didn't write the script. You didn't do anything. Why are you? They're like strikers in football. Like it's like you are not the biggest thing in the shiz.
I think it's down to sort of kind of reach and stuff. Like we couldn't just turn up to J.K. Rowling or George R.R. Martin and just kind of go, "Hey, fancy coming on the podcast?" Because they'd be like, "Nah, that's not going to happen." You just get ignored. I think it's just down to sort of like Ian Livingston's quite a bit of a legend and stuff, but he was just there, he was promoting one of his books in a stall, and we just turned around and went, "Do you fancy a chat?" And he said, "Yeah." But
Incredible.
I can't believe you've never been, man. There's two big gaming events in the UK. Salute. You know what Salute is? Sam! Sam!
I've heard of that.
Sam, oh my god.
The thing is,
Give me your tabletop gaming cards right now.
it's all about money, though. Like, how much is a pass to one of these places?
Nothing because I get it for press.
Yeah, no. But if you had to pay for it, would you still go like regularly?
I think it's like for a weekend. I don't know, 50 quids or something like that.
I think for me it was just always because you also have to remember is a lot of my mentality is still based on living in Scotland, and if you don't live in the UK, you don't know this, but how bad is train travel prices in the UK?
Oh, yeah, it's horrible.
I have to travel to London, or at least I used to before the big C, before he got chlamydia. That was a joke back to the last podcast. I wasn't sure if you'd remember. But train travel in this country is a joke. It's like 200 quid if you want to go down to London, like if you don't book a million miles in advance and stuff like that, and travel at just the worst
In my work, they do these things where you go down to London, and because it's such short notice, you're paying 350 quid
Absolutely
just for. And I was like, I could go on holiday for that much money.
So that's how much it is when I'm going from Manchester. Can you imagine how much it is when I was coming from Glasgow? I
know, but you've been in. How long have you been in Manchester now?
6 years.
Yeah.
Why'd you never invite me? Why'd you literally? I've helped you at 2 or 3 big events.
Yeah.
I'm sure the hilarious thing is those are probably the 2-3 big events I've ever been to.
Man, so basically, you've got Salute, which I've never been to because it's in London. But I know I watch all the videos and stuff of it. And
We can
stuff
stay at my in-laws.
Yeah,
We'd have to share a bed though.
that's fine. But Salute's a massive one, and then you've got UK Games Expo, which is absolutely like it's going to blow your tiny little mind. Like you're going to go there and you're literally going to be going, "Oh my god, this is Mecca." There's like you go in. I have to be very careful.
I think that also is a certain aspect of it because I know that if I took my credit card,
Oh mate, yeah. You literally I had to ask my mate to hold mine and stuff because I went one the first time I went,
can you ask for
I
review copies?
I went in and I bought a load of stuff and I went, I've got nowhere to carry this, so I had to come back the next day with a suitcase just so I could carry all the stuff I bought.
Where did you put it in the meantime?
I just the guys from Geek and Son had a booth and I put it underneath their table and they sort
Nice.
of so they're always there. But yeah,
Did you not
so
put it in your car?
but the car is like miles away in
Oh,
the
is it far?
in the sort of like car park and stuff. So it's NEC, so parking's sort of like pretty far away from where it
Right.
is. But you literally have this the NEC. You have a big, one of the big sort of kind of rooms in there, multiple rooms in there with every type of tabletop gaming
Yeah.
thing you would ever want.
Wow.
It's literally just like normal conventions like MCM and stuff like that. Like, yeah, there's loads of pop figures and there's sort of little toys
Yeah,
and
that's what I
comic.
imagine
Yeah,
it
it's
being
just
like.
I think it's okay. It's interesting. There's call players and stuff. This is literally everything that you love just
Nice.
everywhere. And it's just like, they had like the fire what's it called? You have Dropship Commander. They've got Drop Fleet Commander, or
Yep.
sorry, so I think it's their new one. They had this full sized, like massive mothership with other ships sort of kind of around it and stuff as a part of a game. There's people they set up games and stuff to play. Fantasy Flight were there with all their different sort of like different games and stuff. People play games. There's tournaments. There's literally stalls and stalls and stalls of different tabletop gaming things. People painting the whole thing, everything you would ever want, and people you can network with.
That's good.
So yeah, so that's something you need to think about
Yeah.
now, because it's awesome. And I have to stop because I had to stop because it was costing me way too much money. Like there's the guys who do Dust Tactics who
Yeah.
are always there, the Polish ones. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't exist anymore. But like every time I was there, the guy would see me and I'd be like, "Hey, it's Matt from Geek Pride." And he's trying to sell me, I'll give you a 15% discount and stuff. And I was like, "Oh, okay, fine, give me that." And I was like, it's all piled up over here, and it's just like, yeah. But it's just there's a lot of loads of RPGs, lots of sort of cool little sort of even companies that do create board games for you and
Yeah.
stuff, so that you can go and talk to a company if you want to create a board game, and they'll go through how you get this product and this product and this product, all small independent board games and stuff like that. So my friends from Tinkerbot Games, uh so Bevan
See
and
the guy
stuff,
that did Ghost Hotel?
Ghost Tales, yeah. So he sort of had their own booth there. There's sort of like the guys who did uh Airflix, the game that sort of like I had a bit of issues with and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of the guys on a podcast about that, and he's going to be there this year and stuff like that. And like I had a bit of a bitch about him on about it on the podcast, but the guy who was on the podcast is friends with them
Yeah.
and basically told me all the shit that was going on in the background with the
Yeah.
Kickstarter, and it made me sort of kind of think about how it is for Kickstarters and stuff in general. So I'm gonna have a talk with him.
Yeah.
To say, so what happened and what's going on and what are you doing in the future, and sort of just get a bit more sort of
And
kind
do
of.
you email them in advance, some of them, or do you
No,
just rock up with your
no,
camera?
just gonna rock up and ask and stuff. I know,
Because your audio is pretty good. I need to like work out what kind of kit I would take.
yeah. So I
Um,
generally what I do for live things is I've got my big camera upstairs, got XLR microphones, and we just sort of do it that way and stuff. And I'll just bring like an attached light or a boom mic, and it generally seems to do quite well. Um, but yeah, it's definitely something you should do.
mm.
And this is as far away from nerd dating as we've got. Literally, this is literally segued into sort of this sort of
Well,
my article about nerd dating and this.
I was gonna say it's become almost a topic that we were definitely gonna cover at one point, which was about what it's like to start in this hobby as a creator. We've both done individually. You're the veteran. I've set up a shop that sold nerd things, which I mean kind of similar. But obviously more importantly, I've started the basic brush and sort of thing. Which in terms of growth, it just, and I think you suffered from something similar. It sort of tailed off And I think that's because quite a lot of what I managed to do was I managed to ride the wave of speed paint.
Yeah.
So the question is how do I hit the next wave?
You
You
just
know,
got to keep on going. It's about being productive, man. My problem is I just got overwhelmed, and you
you want to
know,
come and work for me at the basic brush?
yeah. How much
Yeah.
you paying, Sam?
Nothing. So we're working together. We're creating. Although having said that, I do make a tiny amount. I make about £10 a month, so I could give you £10 a month.
Boz makes that in one video, Sam. It's all right, my dog.
Does he actually?
Yeah, Boz makes 2p for every 1,000 views he
Oh.
gets. It's not a lot for TikTok, but like
Have you
certain.
never thought of YouTube Shorts? YouTube? Oh no, but they don't even
I
have.
do
They don't
for
actually
like
have
a
money.
Geek Pride. I've started doing like those pop quiz
Yeah.
ones. I've started adding them and things. So things I'm trying to be a bit more proactive with stuff I know I can do without overwhelming myself.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to manage my own sort of
Expectations.
expectations and stuff. Yes, trying to do that. Um, and sort of like I'm very mindful I don't help you a lot with this and stuff other than having the event and microphones and things like that. And it's just sort of like because I know part of me was not going to do this podcast
Mm.
because I knew it would overwhelm me if I had
Yeah.
this sort of kind of really thing. But
Well, that's why I've never chased you for it, and also I don't mind the
yeah,
editing. It doesn't take
I,
that
I
long.
can help, but it's just like I know as soon as I start getting, because it's not like this isn't a priority for
Yeah.
me. I love doing this. It's just like because
The thing is as with all things, until money comes into it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter. When money comes into it, then things might need to change.
Yeah.
Maybe I think in that situation, the next step would be is if I got overwhelmed with editing and if this channel is making any money, the fair thing to do would be pay someone else to
Yeah,
edit
well,
it,
that's it.
and that just immediately because. This is for fun. This is purely the basic brush. In fact, the topic at this point is what's it like as being a creator. Let's just accept the fact that the episode is about being a creator, and
Yeah.
obviously still talk about this kind of stuff as well. But the hardest thing is sometimes just when you just don't have time to do anything. And you'd think a week is a long time. It's just not. And when your video gets pushed back, because I did the latest video was a collab.
Yeah.
Although it didn't end up being like the collaboration I hoped it would be. Like my idea of a collaboration was like, see how this is sort of a collaboration. So we both in each other's videos. So it didn't end up being like that. It was more like a shout out, which was nice. And I was the biggest channel doing it. One of the channels is only 100 people. So you could say that I'm looking down, but I also hate that. I hate the fact that bigger channels never collaborate with small channels. So when I saw that they were doing it, I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I'm the biggest by a factor of 10, but I don't care. I'll be part of it. But it got me chatting to another guy who, if you've never checked out MiniQuest 64, you need to check it out. Sergey is so nice. We do a chat, and you're more than welcome to join us anytime you like on a Sunday morning, where we just have a chat. We have a chat about like YouTube. We have a chat about that. Maybe we should record that and make a podcast as well. But it's just nice.
Don't overwhelm yourself. That's one thing I would say that I've learned from this is don't because it's so easy to get yourself to a point where like I've got loads of good ideas. Loads of good ideas and stuff, and I'm very sort of like if I get that eureka moment, it's like we need to do this, and I've got a good idea how things should be.
Yeah,
but you start overstretching yourself because people don't buy into that vision, or you don't have time, and you feel like you have time, but you have to understand that you need downtime to get yourself. So you can't do it all the time and stuff, and so you need to sort of maybe do it in small chunks and stuff, and that's where I'm trying to I have specific things I do now, but I don't stress about news and I don't stress about these things and stuff like that. I sort of, if they come, then brilliant. If people add in things, then I'm not chasing anybody anymore and stuff.
Yeah.
The only editing I do is like some of the writers aren't, they're enthusiastic and they help out with the website, but when they're writing, it's not on par, I would say, and stuff.
Yeah.
So I help edit their stuff and things like that. So that's the only sort of extra.
But that's still how long does it take you to edit an article?
Depends. Like there was one recently, one of the guys did, and like he means well, but his writing style's very much like when he reviews something, it's just a synopsis of what happened, and I don't think that should be how a review should be. It should be an opinion
Your
on something.
emotions,
So it's literally like, this is what happened. He names everybody, what they've done and stuff, and then it's a very long thing. And then it's like, so what I do is I knock that out, move that to the end, and say synopsis of the film, and then I rewrite a view based on what he's told me about the thing.
Yeah.
Even if I haven't seen the film, I'll rewrite it and say, like, well, this is how I felt about it. This is how it felt about it because of my kids, and blah blah blah. And then I sort of kind of structure it that way. And I've been trying to mentor him to say like shorter ones. Like I write a lot, but despite being dyslexic, I can write quite well now. Over time, I've learnt how to do it, and I can sort of, I make grammatical mistakes and things now and again, but I put my foot in my mouth now and again. But generally, it's not a bad read.
I say it's exactly the same as me. Like I'm a dyslexic as well, and when I'm writing stuff for the website or whether I'm doing feedback for clients, anything like that, someone else always reviews me. And my boss is very, very patient, but he got like a little bit annoyed at one point. He was like, I have to do this. And it doesn't take him that long, but all these things add up. And I was just like, look, well, I just won't do them then. I just won't because I can't. Like, I can't do what you're asking me to do. I'm trying, and that guy's trying.
Yeah, yeah.
And as long as you're giving him constructive criticism and you nudge him a little bit, I'm better than when I was. And there is no arguing against that. I'm better, but it still needs reviewed. And at the end of the day, if someone's doing something, and this is obviously my suggestions, I'm getting paid to
Yeah.
he's not. But at the same time, is you just sometimes there are flaws in people. You have to accept that. And it's one thing that I've had in a lot of jobs where I come in with loads of creative ideas, and people will go, "Oh no, blah blah blah," and you've got to push it through, and that's what I can do. I can keep pushing, but eventually, when you get too much pushback, you just go, and that's a management skill. You've got to
Yeah.
keep that person's flame going, but
And
you
that's
just got to sculpt
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And that's one thing I noticed when sort of like at one point we had 48 people, and there was very much different characters with different things and different motivations and stuff, and you have to balance that. But then there's interactions with other people. People are falling out, and you have to sort of, like you said, keep their flame
Yeah,
going and stuff. And it's hard. It's hard, and it's like, I think some of them probably see me as somebody who was just trying to sort of
use them.
use them, and it was as far from it as possible. I was, the amount of time and stress and
Yeah,
stuff I was
they never
trying,
see it. They never understand it.
trying to make things work so it would be better for them. And
Yeah.
it was selfless. It wasn't sort of like, for me, it was an idealistic thing. It was trying
Yeah.
to create something that would be greater for the greater good for
Yeah.
everybody and stuff.
The greater
And
good.
and it's like, and I hate, because because of you know I think money's always a sort of kind of a
Contentious.
contentious thing, and I understand that, especially it's sort of, but it's like, we got some tips for our Dungeons and Dragons stream and stuff like that, and I was just like, part of me like, should I just share that out to the guy? There wasn't a lot, so that
Yeah.
things, but then it's like, it costs me money to do this, and it's like, so what do? Do you recoup first and then do that? And my view is now, it's just like, any money that the site gets for videos and things like that, I'm going to take 50% for the site
Yeah.
alone,
Yeah.
not for me,
Yeah.
and then anything else will get split out between
Yeah.
the people who sort of do that. So let's do 50 site for overheads. If it got to the point where we were making so much money where the site was paying for itself and then it had profit,
Yep.
then it would just be, I would have a conversation with them about, like, we're making X amount of money. I would like to do this with it and stuff. It wouldn't be, this is how it's going to be. I'd be fair. And I think, but the thing is, some people think, oh, you're gonna take this to yourself. It's just like, well, it shows a lack of trust and stuff like that, and it shows a misunderstanding of who I am as a person
Yeah.
and stuff. And I'm just not that. I'm not built that way.
Like I said, it's like with this, the podcast right now is making a whopping £3 before tax.
Yeah.
So there's just no point in quibbling over that. It just is going to sit in account, and then heck, if at the end of the year it's even close to being able to pay off the subscription, it'll pay off the subscription. I wouldn't even say let's refund us from this year. I would say use it for next year if we think we're going to continue for the next year. I think anyone that's starting something new like this, you have to accept that you are going to lose money. I have spent now in the region of, I don't know, £200 on my setup, 200 maybe £300. And it just, every time there's something else that's needed, and like I bought some lights that, I initially started off with just the lights that I already had, and then that didn't work, so I bought some little, but I bought cheap ones. Then I bought some a bit more expensive ones, and you just have to accept it. I mean, let's move on to something I want to give back, and that's advice. Advice to people that would decide to go down, starting their own shop, starting their own information company, or starting their own YouTube channel. What advice would you give to them? I mean, the first one obviously there's money, except that you're going to make a loss.
I think you have to make a decision. Like, there's some people who do it. So you could see like you have to either make a decision in your life, and this is a big decision. You have got to make a decision that it's going to be your primary focus and your job.
Yep.
And then you're going to accept that you're probably going to struggle for a while until it works. So you either have to prioritize and go, that's it, or accept that it's going to be part time. It's not going to grow as fast, and maybe it's not going to work as well because you're not going to be able to put as time. But if that's the case, and that's not a bad thing, you just have to accept that you're not going to be massive. So there's guys like Vanguard Tactics, who do battle reports and things like that, and they do coaching and
They're
for
all at the
tournaments.
events this weekend.
Yeah, and so they all sort of like. So the guy Steve Box who runs them and stuff.
He strikes me as an owner, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Like, whenever I
he's a
watch
very.
videos-
He's, I think he's a very business oriented
Yeah.
sort of chap, and I think because he had his own business beforehand, before he started that, I've been following them for years, from back in the day when they were quite small and stuff. And
You never reached out. It's a shame, like, 'cause
I've
if you
played games with them before. Like we've been to tournaments and stuff
no
together
way,
and stuff.
ah,
Yeah, and so I know the guy, and I know a couple of guys from Vanguard Tactics and stuff, and
you've never got thought to go and do a stream with them on their site.
I've been tempted to sort of like I don't think they'd have because I'm not as dedicated to 40k as
Yeah.
they literally are.
Yeah,
Their main
their
drive
career.
is pure
Yeah.
40k. Like they know sort of like I just dabble for now and again.
Yeah.
So it's not. I was tempted to get them on the podcast at some point in time just to sort of see if they could have a conversation about competitive play and things like that. But he has gone sort of like he has, he's had obviously, he's had some money to back him up, which is important and fortunate. If you want to do something properly,
Yeah.
you have to have money behind you as much as you unless it's something like YouTube and you're living with your parent. I think it's good. You see all these YouTube stars, they don't have any overheads because they're living with their parents, like Syndicate, who I followed from like when he was first starting stuff. He was in his bedroom. He was doing YouTube videos.
Who is Syndicate?
So he's a massive YouTube star. He's from Denton actually, so he's sort of
Like a tabletop one.
No, sort of like gaming guys
Right.
and stuff. And like Minecraft. I think he started off doing Minecraft and Call of Duty and things like that and stuff. He's massive, big, and he started off.
He's from Denton, like down the road.
Yeah, in Denton. Yeah, so he was like, because I saw him at a. When Halo 3, I think it came out, he was sort of doing an appearance in one of the Crown Point, or no, he turned up in Crown Point sort of game to pick up his copy of Halo 3, and people were, oh, that's Syndicate, and stuff. And this was when he was relatively big, and I saw him in like the cinema with his family and stuff. No, we were eating in Nando's. I think he was there with his family. So like this again when he was sort of not as when he was big, but he's gone from his bedroom. Because he's had no overheads and stuff, and his parents have basically been able to do that, so he can do that. He could obviously, as a kid at the time, he didn't have any responsibilities at the time, so he could focus time on that. And he's built himself up to have millions of followers to the point where he's very well known, and he makes a lot of money off his videos and stuff like that, to the point where he bought himself a house with a swimming pool. And there was a video from many years ago where he bought his own house and it was showing him being built and he was going through it and stuff like that. So he's done that through his YouTube career and stuff. So it's literally, if you want to start something, you have to either have a revenue stream or somebody who can support you to go through that to get it. And if it's a case like myself and yourself, where you've got a mortgage and you've got a family and you've got a normal day job and stuff like that, it isn't going to be as easy unless you have a forgiving other half, or you have the time to do it. Time's very important. So it's either a case of you fully go all in, balls deep, and do it, or you accept that it's going to be a slow burn.
So you said there that Vanguard Tactics, they started off with money. Like, what I would not, I appreciate that. I don't mean to incorrectly quote you, but what I'm saying is, I could ask you what you would have done differently with 15 grand. But what I'm more interested in is something like that, mainly because they're similar to me. They're more similar to me than they are to you, is what I'm saying. And what do you think they did with that?
Well, I don't know if they had money. So whatever Steve Box did, he's got a very business orientated mind from what I talk. Because when you talk to him, in person, and when you see his videos and stuff, it is very much like,
He's got an end goal. He's got this,
yeah,
and
but
this
it's
to
not like
create
he's not
this.
like, hey guys, I'm sort of. It's
Yeah,
very much like this. It's like talking to
which
somebody
is good. Which
when
is
you're
good when
in
you're.
a
It's confidence.
it's like, and it's very much
I
a
know what I'm talking about.
yeah, I know what I'm talking about. It's
Teacher
very, yeah, and it's not teacher. It's like, you're
authority.
in a boardroom, and it's where
Yeah,
you're talking to your manager and stuff. And he's very much, this is how it's going to be, and this is the way it is, and this is how things are, and it's clinical in a way. I think part of
but it's
the
different. It made him unique.
yeah,
Made him
exactly.
stand out.
So, and they've got their own podcast, which is to like second, I think, in the country for gaming and stuff
No
like
way.
that. And
What's one?
I'm not sure
Uh,
exactly what it is, but he's my friend on Facebook, and he posts on it. So they've done immensely well to the point where they hire people now. So they've
yeah.
got their own studio. They pay for a studio. They're hiring people, and that's
But
because he is
that's now. But what set them off? Like for example, what could I?
because he changed from basically, because I think he had his own I'm not sure what his other company was, but because he was a fitness model, so
Hmm.
you see him, he's built, he's hench, but used to be a fitness model, and I think he had another company that he was doing, and he went from just doing the odd video himself to basically going, I'm starting this as my business.
Hmm.
This is going to be my livelihood. And obviously, part of the fear of having a business, you creating something, and, you know, just dedicating all of his time to, so he could justify to his missus and stuff, like saying, like, this is my job now. I want to make this work.
Yeah.
Therefore, I have to do this.
But did he do that right from the get go, or did he
No,
start off a
I
little
think
bit?
because initially
Because that's the thing, is it?
I could be wrong.
Because if I took a sabbatical, I don't think my work would allow it. But let's say that I could take 6 months, I could grow the channel faster because I could make more videos,
Yes.
I could make better videos,
Yes.
I could make them quickly and spit them out.
Yes.
But what can I do apart from that? So we're kind of moving away from what he did with his money, but what can I do? Like if I had 15 grand, what could I do to make my videos better? Better equipment straight off the bat, because right now I have literally my
Yeah.
phone.
So what you would do is, for example, if I had more money,
Yeah.
I get better lighting. I get
But I feel like you've
bigger.
got good enough lighting. Your lighting is what I would aspire to, because the videos always look really good. I need to get one of these like webcam things.
Yeah.
Is this got autofocus?
Yeah, well, it can do, but I think I would probably use, because there's a lot of them. The lighting I don't like, so I quite like it where it's darkish in the background. So
Mm.
if you watch the D&D streams,
Yeah.
or the podcasts that we do and stuff, I have me lit up, and in the background you just see these sort of kind of purpley lights and
LEDs.
things and stuff, and it looks really nice. But you can see my face. That's ideally what I want here. But what you need is, you need to have this. It's meant to be low light, but it doesn't seem to work. I want a camera so it can focus on us. We can have some light on our faces,
Mm.
but you can have this sort of kind of multicolored one going in the background. These ones, so it's sort of like you're getting a bit of light in the background, but it's sort of, you can see our faces. So it would just be, I'd have a bigger room,
Yeah.
more space. If it was me and I had the money, I would have a bigger room where I could have everything I needed sort of
Set up all
set
the
up.
time.
Maybe one for if I was doing, I'd have a table. The table, I'd have a room like this without all the board games and stuff everywhere. Maybe a little sort of kind of, because a lot of them have these nice little sort of set
Nook,
pieces,
yeah.
where there's like some nicely set out board games and
I
stuff.
mean, that nook there could absolutely work.
Yeah.
The problem is you would need to board up the windows, or
yeah. So something like that, and I'd have.
have you seen my attic?
Yeah, show me photographs. Yeah.
Oh, you need to come round. This is the. Is there a particular reason we did it here? No, I mean I've got microphones and stuff, but I think it's convenient for your dog. It's the main reason it's here. But you need to come and see my attic, because I have a dream and a vision that I want to do with that. And every time it's like, until my boiler broke, I just saved up for the Velux windows.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just need to get out that mindset of, because the Velux windows are going to be probably the most expensive part. They're 700, 800 pounds a piece, but I think they'll make the space. But I could have done everything else, and I keep going on, and I saved up for it, and I got the guy booked, and then the boiler broke, and that's several £1,000s to replace, and so that just kicked me back again. But if I can get that done, I've got a massive gaming table up there. It's 6'8", expands to 10 foot. If I can get the light in there, I then want to attach. I've got nice wooden beams. I want to sand them all down. I want to attach my rigs.
You've got to also then sort of think about this, right? So this comes back to our overstretching yourself. So for the basic brush, is the basic brush about helping people paint, or is it going to be?
It's not painting tutorial channel.
Is it so? So from what I've got, so
It's more like Miniac, Ninja, and it's like what is already
yeah,
out there, which is always dangerous. Have you ever seen the painting coach?
no,
His channel is excellent. He's grown very fast because he's one. Do you remember that guy that you really enjoyed that painted
yeah,
Thunderwolves?
yeah,
I think he was just too early. I think if he had the same channel now, it would be huge
yeah, yeah.
because what this guy, the painting coach, does is he literally does no humor, no jokes. This is how you paint it. It's an excellent video,
Yeah.
and he's building up a library about it. Whereas I don't like that. I want to sell me as a person, which just shows you the level of narcissism that I have. That I think people would want to watch. This
Don't
podcast.
over see. This is the thing: is you don't want to over dilute. Like you said this to me, because
Mm.
there's too many subjects on our YouTube, and there's too many things going on. If you start doing stuff like this, so at this moment in time, and I think the reason you have a niche is because you're focusing mainly on painting, model making, and sort of in and around peripheries around that. There's
Yep.
no mass thing.
Which wouldn't change on the basic
Yeah,
brush.
but if you start going into tabletop gaming and stuff like that, you're starting to overstretch
It would be a
yourself.
different channel. It would be on the basic Brits channel that I'd be doing, and it would be literally
I know, but
I
that's
play my no, but it wouldn't be editing. It would be when I'm playing my games for fun. Because have you ever heard of Sea Dog?
no.
Sea Dog is he's massive, millions and millions of followers. Welsh dude who went out to Japan and he's out there and he's like a bit of a weeb and he does loads of stuff. But on his other channel, he does just him video gaming. Now a lot of it is he's transitioned them across, but it's also like more advertising. It's advertising people in that thing, and so he basically has monetized his fun time. So he's literally streaming whilst he's playing video games, and he's doing that as his downtime from his job, and he's made money out of it. So that's the sort of idea that I would have.
I think it's something you could do once the basic brush is bigger.
Mm,
But as soon as you start overstretching yourself too early, and this is a problem I had,
mm,
you dilute everything. You're focused in one area,
yeah.
and that's what you need to do.
Yeah, that wouldn't be changing.
Yeah. But if you start obsessing like I do about other things,
But
and then it
that
takes your focus away from the important thing that's doing you well and stuff. And so
yeah.
you need to sort of shrink it down and then use. So for me at the minute, the podcast and Dungeons and Dragons are my main sort of kind
Mm,
of thing. And they're the ones that I sort of focus on a lot more and stuff about. And then obviously, because once we get bigger, I can start expanding out and stuff. Like, because Boz is quite famous and stuff, I use that as a platform to sort of kind of push out and stuff like that. But I don't overstretch myself as much
yeah.
anymore and stuff. So I think for you, if you were to spend money, I wouldn't go automatically going, I want to do this with this, I want to do this. I would focus on the basic brush is your first priority, and you put everything you have into that. And then
It is for
once,
that. It is for that. No, the upstairs is to be a studio. So
okay.
one of the hard things is with my tiny little desk. I don't know if you remember my living room, but it's in that tiny little corner. I have to take everything down every time I want to record. If I want to do photography, I've got to take everything down, set all the photography stuff up. You have to dismantle everything.
Yeah,
So basically, what I want the upstairs to be is there'd be a place for shooting videos, there'd be a place for talking head, there'd be a place for painting,
yeah,
and just have everything all
yeah,
set
yeah,
up. So I've got
yeah.
clamps and stuff like that. And then on top of that, I also want to do my gaming table, because when you're doing cool shots, I have to bring all my terrain downstairs, put it on my kitchen table and record it, and that's 2 stories including a rickety ladder.
I'll tell you what my dream is, what my dream situation would be if
Hmm.
I had money. If I won the lottery, I would do this in an instant. I've talked to my friends about it loads of time. If I won the lottery, or I had enough money to sort of kind of do it, I would have a place like an Element, like like a big sort of old factory or something.
Yep.
I would make it into a gaming center,
Yep.
with sort of like we'd have sort of kind of, it would be a bit more sophisticated, I think. So it would sort of part of it, we got a thing called the Legacy, it's the what's it called, um like LAS3G. So Legacy, Gentleman's Gaming Group is our sort of kind of WhatsApp group that we have.
Laser.
Yeah, Laz 3G, I think, is our Laz 3G is our sort of kind of thing where we talk about painting and models, and we've got some really good painters in there and stuff. And they sort of, Craig, he paints for Modifius and stuff like that, and So we just sort of do that, and I'd have my own sort of little sort of gaming thing, and I wouldn't really care about making a profit on it as
Yeah.
long as I was making enough money to pay for it and stuff. It
Yeah.
would just be sort of sort of kind of hangout thing. But
Seems too stressful to me.
I know, but it
That's
wouldn't. Again, it would just be something. If it was, I won the lottery,
yeah.
right? So money's not going to be a massive. This is just my thing. Money's not anything. But I'd have an area for Geek Pride where I'd have, like you said, a section for maybe tabletop gaming, section laid out for the podcast, section for, I'd have certain things for different areas for different things. So you could go,
Mm.
right, this is, I don't have to set things up. I don't have things. So I'd have all these little parts for, I need, so I can go from one to the other instead of
Yeah.
messing around with setting things up, taking it down, like you said, and stuff like that. And that would be my ideal. Like if I had the money, and we always talked when we first started Geek Pride and we were being a bit too sort of maybe big for our boots, that we'd have our own little office and stuff, and it would just be like, it would be cool for people to come in and they get a laptop and they could do their thing. And I think that would be quite cool just to have a little sort of Geek Pride headquarters, which, was a
Yeah.
focus for everybody, beanbags and, that sort of thing. And
My question is why did Lad Bible manage what you're describing?
because they,
I see these people that are successful and I can't work it out, and maybe that dooms
I
me to
honestly
something.
think it's a mixture of funding, it's a mixture of drive, it's a mixture of priorities, and it's a mixture of niche. Now, our niche is very niche. So it's like,
Or
as much,
Geek Pride.
yeah, no, geek stuff is niche in that it's not going to be as big a money maker as Lad Bible, who do a variety of sort of kind of general things. It's, so you can make money off it, but you have to have a. It's like my band. My band are pretty good. We were doing quite well, but because we're heavy metal, it shrinks your niche
Yeah.
down quite considerably. So you're not going to make much money out of it. So we realized very soon, we couldn't make a career out of that because there's no money in it, and there's a lot of bands doing that sort of thing. So it's, you have to have a broader niche. Um, they have money to back them up. They have a drive to literally either no, I lie. They either have money to back them up or the support system to be able to do it. They have the drive to just focus on that and nothing else.
That's based on now. It's so easy to see them now they're successful, but what I want to know is what they were like at the
That's what
beginning.
I think. I honestly, I do not think you can do something like this and be successful unless you are singularly focused on that thing.
Yeah.
And that means,
But what were
so,
they singularly focused on? That's what I don't get.
but
I mean, I
they've
think they
set up,
started off by like nicking videos from the internet and just
yeah,
sharing popular
but that's it.
videos.
So they've done something. Now, on social media, it's not as hard because you don't have early social media. So, and this is one of my big regrets is I wish I'd set up Geek Pride a few years earlier
Mm,
because before then it was a lot easier to get likes for your page and stuff
yeah.
like that. I started off when they first brought in the algorithm, which sort of messed things up. So I wish it started earlier so I could have got more likes earlier than we did. But it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But social media and stuff like that, you don't have to like. So if you want to become a social media star, where you're literally just sharing memes and videos and other people's content or stuff like Boz, where it's quite easy to do
Yeah.
that stuff, you do not need to focus on that well. So Boz has got 146,000 followers. Well,
So the question is what's the next step for Boz? Are you selling any merch? Are you?
I've got like,
It feels like you've got to do something. It feels like you've got this wonderful opportunity here. And how do you, for want of a better term, weaponize it? How do you?
are you because
Because, like you said, I agree completely with you. There's two ways to sort of get to success. One is just genuinely being good at whatever you're doing and being an expert at that, which is grand, but very, very hard. The other one is to do, like you said, with Boz. Boz is gorgeous, he's attractive, and then you've got people that create meme pages. But what happens is you come to that crucible, that crucial point where you switch and you take all those people that you've managed to get and then you turn it into something
you
that
have
makes
to
some money.
understand how social media works on reach and stuff like that. So as much as people see 146,000 followers, like people
Mm,
see 30,000 followers on Geek Pride and go, oh, that's a lot of things. But the thing is, you have to understand that out of those 146 for Boz, maybe 10% are seeing them. out of the same Facebook, maybe 10% are seeing your stuff, maybe not even that and stuff. So
Well, they don't even see your stuff,
you
even though
don't
they're
see, so
subscribed to
yeah, so
you.
you're not going to see everything and stuff. So it doesn't work. It's all down to algorithms and things like that. So you have to do the economy of scale.
Yeah.
So that's why when people say, "Oh my God, you must be famous," you go on for yeah, 146,000 followers is fine. I get recognized. Boz gets recognized. You'd see, like, you'd be walking around. There's people who offered to look after Boz who follow us on TikTok from down the road and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
people sort of, you know, recognize him, but you don't get sort of 146,000 in the grand scheme of things in social media isn't a lot.
But it feels like that it's enough of the bouncing board to then do something next to it. And I ask you, I'm not again. Please don't ever think I'm criticizing what you've achieved in either of your endeavors. I'm not. I'm curious to know, like, because I'm at that stage now with 1,000. What's the bouncing board? What's the next step? That's what I'm struggling with to try and work
It's
out.
viral
Like
videos,
Boz,
man. It's,
Boz would be. Boz, you need to take him to events. You need to enter him in pooch fanciness. You need to go, oh, Boz went to this cool dog parlor thing. And that, I firmly believe that's the next range. And then it would be, right, so you've got a dog and you've got a problem. What's the problem? There's loads of hair. You're complaining about hair. You're complaining about mess. How would you solve that? That's then creating a product. So I can see what I would do with Boz to
yeah,
make him
no,
grow.
with
What
Boz,
would you do to me to make me continue? Because I think I still don't know what the channel identity is. Like, I want to just be me in front of the camera, but is that enough? I don't know, because I'm not amazing at editing. So this is what I mean by it.
I would,
You know,
with you, you just, I need you, I think you should focus on one type of area where
hmm.
you've got painting tutorials, talking about, easy ways to do things, for beginners, this whole beginners thing that
Yeah,
you
my
sort of,
thing was wanting to be mass.
yeah,
It was wanting to be, because I don't think anyone does on mass.
yeah,
That's what I wanted
that
it to
sort of
be.
beginner stuff like that, that sort of niche that you got, that sort of thing, I think works
Hmm.
for you. Um, I, you know, I would focus along that line and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I think you should maybe have a bit of music and stuff at sort of either going, because when you talk, you're
Hmm.
talking as you are and stuff. I feel like you need some underlying music underneath it sometimes
But
and
that's
stuff.
because loads of other videos do that.
Yeah.
You know.
For me, it's just a preference. I kind of prefer it and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and it might be different for other people, but I prefer that sort of thing. Some royalty-free music in the background, not like really high, but just sort of kind of
Yeah.
underneath it and stuff when you're talking, especially if you're talking a lot about things. And I think it ties into sort of like, so I did a Klotzen Panzer battle review on for Geek Pride, and I could have just read. So I wrote the article, and then I did the video for it and stuff. So I read it out. But I know when I read things out, it can be quite sort of like, well, and I'm kind of like you. It's sort of like, you can tell that it's being written out, and it's sort of it's not spontaneous. It's something you're reading, you're reading, or you've sort of memorized and
Yeah.
stuff. And so the music sort of kind of helps that, I find, slightly. It's sort of because it's underlying, and you can tell that it's not, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's just like it's my personal preference. I kind of prefer that.
Hmm.
But for you to get things, you have the ideas and stuff,
Hmm.
but it's just keeping to a specific sort of kind of, instead of going too broad.
So do you think the two videos that I did recently, so I'm sure I've already mentioned it, just had a kid, so the last 3 weeks have been difficult, they've been hard.
I
So
don't.
one week I missed one, and then those two videos, the motivation video and the Star Wars one. So the Star Wars one was to tie into that collaboration, just because I didn't have the time and energy to paint models, which I think immediately is a bad thing. But what about the motivation one?
The only thing I would say about the Star Wars one is you used
Tabletop Simulator.
Tabletop Simulator a lot and stuff, and not the
Yeah.
actual sort of kind of physical
Yeah,
things
because I
and stuff.
don't have them
Yeah.
anymore.
But I don't think things like that are bad,
Hmm.
because it still kind of relates to, because
Would it have been
you're
better to have no video or better to have that video?
no, I think
Because I find that my metrics were massively affected by not having a video one week.
any video counts, because
Yeah.
it all adds up, and
Yeah.
you don't know what's going to become viral
Mm.
and stuff. And it's like, with Boz, I'm very sporadic with him, and it's because I don't have the get up and go to do skits with him all the time.
Mm.
It's literally he's doing something stupid, get the camera out and do it. Or I might have a thought on, because a lot of people ask me questions, so that gives me sort of content that I can use. So
Yeah.
I can sort of, and a lot of them been asked before, but I can sort of kind of elaborate on them as time's gone on. So I use that. I don't like, there's a lot of skits and that, I should do them more often, but I don't. But every video, even if it gets 100 views, 1,000 views, but you get random ones like that one video that he got, and the reason he's got 146,000 followers is because he was coming in out of the snow one day, and I thought it looked silly, and I started filming him. 13 million views.
Yeah.
13 million views, and
You know what's funny? 13 million is still a drop in the ocean of the world's population. It's
yeah,
it's crazy,
yeah,
isn't
but
it?
still a lot,
Oh yeah, it's an unbelievable number.
13 million views. He went from 30,000 followers to 100 and
I think
10.
I think a lot of people think that you earn like a penny per view and stuff like that, and it's
No,
so hilariously
it's
small.
2p. It's 2p for every 1,000 views. So I got about, for that video, I think I got about 700 quid.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, 700 quid,
But
and then I sold it to a company who
Oh,
gave
wow.
me some more money and stuff, so they sort of use it and stuff.
Interesting.
But so it's like, but it's, there's lots of videos. Like I did a shout out Friday for 500 views. Nobody's interested. I do a video on I was just musing about sort of the types of Tibetan Mastiffs. 300,000 views.
I think to me though, like if and do feel free, we could just keep going back and forth and just slaughtering each other's techniques. But for you, it's always like I hate your lack of consistency. That to me is your biggest flaw. It's not your ADHD. It's not the fact that, although the niche thing I think is something that I feel like you could niche down in the same way that I could niche down. But for me, I think it's your consistency. I think you'd be so much bigger if you were more consistent.
Oh yeah, big time. Like I know this, but
But that's because you're trying to do so many things.
Well,
You never considered when you saw that? Were you not tempted to like cut other stuff and just focus on pushing balls?
because geek pride's my thing. It's my baby as well. It's been there before. Balls is just a happy accident that happened.
But you're not
and
tempted
stuff.
to revamp.
I don't need to. I'm not a quitter as well. I don't want to give up on
It
something.
was not being a quitter. It would still be geek pride, but you're going to redefine the goal of geek pride.
With balls videos?
Not with Boz videos. No, I mean like to the tabletop, something that you can fit into your life that you love.
But the thing is, I'm doing that at the minute. All I do, podcast every consistently. We do a podcast every week, pretty much
And
every
it's
week.
doing well because you do it every week.
Yeah, exactly. And the D&D, which is, we're actually starting. We think you had actually like 6 or 7 people watching live and stuff. So we're you get sort of people who are starting watching it, and there's people who watch it. And
where are you advertising it? Are you advertising it in Reddit? Are you advertising it in Facebook groups?
I just sort of, it streams to Facebook, YouTube, and
so
Twitter.
you're not advertising. So that's your next step. Is just go on Reddit and just say, "Hey, I've got this podcast."
Yeah, I would say.
And I know that I'm not good at that. Like what I need to do. That's the other thing that I could do is hire someone to do that for me because I can't.
Again, so that's
I even know someone. I'm gonna go and chat to her actually.
Getting that out and stuff. The good thing about the podcast is because we have so many guests, they effectively promote it for you because they have their own followings and stuff.
Yeah.
So having the guests on helps because they are promoting it to their own fan base, and then you get sort of carryover from it and stuff. I am not my website. There's a million things I could do better. Consistency is very much a thing, but that's what I'm trying now. There is consistent things that I do. Podcast every Sunday, this podcast every Saturday, the Dungeons and Dragons most Thursdays, depending on if people are free. And they are a consistent thing that we do regularly. Now everything else just gets filled in the gaps stuff, so people know they will always get a podcast. And then it's the fact with Boz's stuff. Boz is something that I can now sort of use to cross-pollinate and stuff, because as much as a lot of people are not interested in the geek stuff, I've done it and I've lost, videos haven't gone very well when I talk about geek stuff on Boz's thing, but you get the odd person who comes across who starts liking your page and stuff like that, and that's all it takes, sort of cross-pollination. So I've got sort of that stream that's going to sort of work. And in my mind, if the more he gets bigger, then there will be people who sort of kind of start attaching themselves to you.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like loyal fans. I would say I have 1,140 subscribers, however many I've got. I think I have 10% loyal fans. 10% of people that watch anything I
Yeah,
put out.
but it's this is the one thing you have to understand is figures in like Facebook and in any subscription thing. It sounds big, but
Yeah.
you got to bear in mind a fraction of those people will see
The
what
funny
you've
thing,
got.
isn't it, that the companies are interested in subscriber counts, not views. It's
Yeah,
it's really funny, isn't it? Like if
you
you have a
do.
million subscribers and 100 views, doesn't matter. Someone will still be
Well,
interested
you
in
get
you.
a lot of them sort of for like a lot of companies will ask us how many unique users and stuff we have on our website and stuff. So that's basically how many people are coming to see the site on a regular basis. And I think we're like on 30,000 or something like that, sort of something like that.
Really, a month?
Yeah, yeah. So we were averaging. At one point in time, we were averaging a lot more than that.
That's amazing.
We were doing really well, but then the site, all consistency again, it all sort of kind of. It was the same with the podcast. It went down because we were doing really well. We were getting like literally week on week, we were beating our views. It was going up and up and up, and then shit happened, and it's right down. But again, we are now going up and up and up and up. Um, so it's just consistency, like you said, that is massively important.
Yeah.
I recently, I'm not sure because the site crashed, we died on us, so we had to start again. So I haven't looked at the metrics recently and
Yeah.
stuff, what's happening and things.
You can't bring yourself to do it.
Yeah, I think it makes me make my heart sad. Some of the articles and stuff, especially some of the blog posts I wrote, which were getting a lot of traction and stuff. Now views like there's nothing, and
Yeah.
it's like, but they had thousands of likes and thousands of views and stuff like that, and now they're like probably like one or two and three,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, so it's heartbreaking because I knew before the site died that they had a lot of things. So that's consistency is a massive thing. I need to be consistent, but I get very overwhelmed. So I
Mm.
have certain things that I know are within my control to do, and I therefore um do those. And that's with me. If I regiment myself, it's a lot easier and
Okay.
stuff.
Okay. So what we're gonna do, and I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by this, but we're gonna do two things. We're going to set the other a reasonable goal. Like, and if it's not a reasonable goal, tell me I'm giving you an unreasonable goal. And two, setting your own goal as well. So, do you have a goal? Like, so we're putting it here for the Hobby Hoarders podcast. I mean, I guess we could both have a goal for doing something with the Hobby Hoarders. We do not promote this enough.
Yeah.
Like, it's like Reddit and stuff like that.
Well,
You
I
know?
feel bad about that, but this is a thing. It's like because in my mind, this is my podcast. I'm not saying this is my podcast and stuff. It's just as soon as I start, because I've been doing Geek Pride for so long.
But
It's
to me, that means
sort
that
of,
you've got like the techniques already down. But I don't think you're doing those techniques necessarily with the other one. Like, you do you advertise it anywhere?
oh,
That's a no. No, if you have to think about it, it's a no. It's a no. So what I'm saying is this is one of the things, and I'm bad at my own channel as well. My problem is I hate because I don't care if someone like is in a group and like posts up a picture and says like, oh, like this is my YouTube channel. That doesn't bother me, but I know it bothers a lot of people. So I hate doing that. Like Heavier Metal, I've posted once and then I never posted again.
I don't like spamming stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah, but it's almost like you've got to. I feel like I have to make a video tailored to that thing.
I don't know if spamming. See, I don't know if I buy into this. Promotion wise is important if you're known. If you're a small,
I think it's even more important if you're not known because YouTube doesn't recommend you. It doesn't show you. Some of my best videos are because I was brave enough to post on one of those.
So
chats.
basically, what we do promotion wise is right. So we have 30,000, just under 30,000 followers on Facebook. So maybe you're getting 10% of that, maybe 3,000. Again, you sometimes you just knock certain things explode, certain things don't. So certain things you'll get a couple of likes. Some things you'll get a lot of likes for and stuff. It depends on what people's Facebook. I find are more interested in memes and small sort of bite-sized things than that. But we've also got the Geek Pride community and stuff, which has got about just under 2,000 people. And most of them see that and stuff. So I share everything in that. I share everything on Facebook. I share everything on my personal page. I share everything on Twitter.
But that's the same people. That's not growing an audience. That's just getting
I know,
views
but the
from
thing
that
is,
audience.
but they view things which sort of kind of cascades if they're sharing them. So it's all about getting the
Yeah,
shares.
but they never share.
I know, but you should do. But you're still promoting those
because
things.
I'm someone that I watch a lot of YouTube, but I've barely ever shared. Like I've shared a couple to you, maybe. But it's just because I hate bothering other people,
yeah,
which
but
is the wrong mindset for this.
I think if you there's a lot of them like Glasshammer Gaming and stuff. Every time they've got a new video up, there's a new thing on one of the 40k sort of forums about their new sort of thing, and they're on all of them. They share in all of them and stuff.
Mm.
I think it gets to the point if you're overdoing it, people think you're spamming, and the mods and stuff of those pages and stuff can be a bit
Well,
arsey.
this is what I sort of was wanting to do, and this is kind of social media stuff that I just need to get the gumption to do it. Is when I started, I did post in a couple of Facebook pages where I asked a question. I was like, "Hey guys, what do you think of this?" And then at the end of that, I would have a link, not even one of those ones where it pops up as a video and that you click on it, but just a link that said, "Oh, and this is my opinion on it." And I got quite a few traction for that. Because remember, I'm a small channel, so even having 10 extra views is significant. And I just need to do more of that. I need to make like cute little pictures where it's like a chibi me going, "Oh, we want to talk about this." And so then you're not showing the same thing. It's not just a link to a video,
Mm.
you're adding value to that. And that's something that I'm not good at, but I feel like I need to put more time into. I think that's actually more important now than necessarily my videos themselves. I think my equipment, my setup is getting to the point where it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing that's holding me back is exposure. And the only person that's not doing it good enough is me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you think can you bring yourself to do it? So can you choose something that you're going to tell me either for the Hobby Hoarders podcast or one of your other channels? It doesn't matter, whichever one you feel most comfortable with. I want you to actively try something, anything. So you're going to make a promise about something that you're going to try. So what are you going to try?
The thing is, I think I've been quite active recently. So, for example, the pop quiz thing, which we tried here and stuff, but I brought that onto the Geek Pridecast,
Mm-hmm.
and I now do so we have generally about 4 people on the podcast, ever guests and stuff. So I do 4 or 5 guest things, so pop quiz things, so 60 seconds, Marvel 50
Mm.
seconds, Harry Potter and stuff. And then what I do is every day I screen grab that section
Yep.
and I make a short for it. For
See, now you shouldn't have told me that you were already doing that because you could have said that was your thing, but you're already doing
Yeah,
that.
I know, but I'm
I
just
want
saying,
something
but no, but I
extra.
don't want anything extra because I don't want to overpower myself. So that's my thing I'm doing to sort of kind of push it. So now the podcast is like, because since I've done that, it's now getting cross pollination from my TikTok side of things. We've gone from couple 350 followers on the Geek Pride one to nearly 700 and
Okay,
stuff.
fine. I'll since you're bandering and you're mithering and you haven't chosen something, I'll tell you the one I'm giving to you right now. I want you to take your Boz one, take some cute pictures of Boz, and I'll post it in a dog group. I want you to find.
I do that
Do you?
already. Yeah. Boz has
Okay.
got
So
Boz
when I
like
asked you, you didn't say that.
no,
You said
but
all the internal
no, but
stuff.
I do sort of like Boz has got his own Facebook. He's got an Instagram which gets quite a lot of traction. He's nearly more than my personal one, and he's not been on it that long and stuff,
Mm.
you know. So he gets a lot of like, and if I put any photographs of him up, it's hundreds of
Where?
likes and stuff on his
No, I'm saying
Instagram.
like in a Facebook group or Reddit group,
Yeah, but the thing
a
is,
group that you're not already in.
I know, but his Instagram is you see, you don't understand. Instagram, if you've got certain things and the right hashtags and stuff, you can get
Yeah, which I'm not good at.
yeah. So
Hashtags is something I'm not good at.
he
Because again, I don't like to spam. Like I hate it when
so
someone you open someone's picture, but that's how you get
he
hit.
gets lots of likes and stuff from people who don't follow me and stuff
Mm.
like that. So it's literally he gets hundreds of likes from people who don't follow him and stuff because of his pictures and stuff. And it's just every now and again you will get
Have you posted it in groups?
I don't need to, but I do post.
Yeah, but this is what I'm telling you. This is what I'm saying that you should do. This is my task for
I've got
you.
Tibetan Master forum groups which I put my TikToks in.
Huh?
I've got the dog.
So you do. So why
walking
every time I ask you, you say no, and then you start talking about your own
But
ones?
it's not. I don't do it regularly. I do it now and again.
Yeah.
But I don't. Instagram for him is. I don't need to sort of with him. I've got. I know kind of
What you need to do to grow it.
to grow because I kind of.
You just don't have the energy
I
to do
just
it.
don't have. You know, if I did a bit more, I try to do. I do a live.
Okay,
Most days when I walk him and stuff.
fine. Okay, fine. If that one's too much for you, how about, because you feel guilty about not doing anything on this, how about my task for you is to go in and add some tags to each of our episodes? Do you think you could manage that? because I have been terrible at it. I haven't added the tags to the videos.
You got an auto. You can have
I do
tag.
have, but you need specific ones for each video, and I haven't done the hashtags.
But have
You know,
you've got general ones that go on each
not
time.
good enough. Not good enough.
I know, but you should.
And the website, the Podbean website as well, that needs done. So could you? Which of those two do you think you could manage? Doing the tags or doing the Podbean website?
I'll do the tags.
Okay. So that's your task.
You have to give me all the
2
details.
weeks.
You have to give me the login details.
You've lost them all.
Yeah, probably.
Because
Yeah.
you have them all. You've been added. You've got your own personal login for it.
On the YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
You have to send them to me. But
Okay.
I will go through them because I kind of try to go through my
Do you need to write this down? Are you the kind of person that will forget this?
You just have to remind me.
No, because that's then my job. No. This is a collaboration. Your job is going to be to add the tags. In 2 weeks, we're going to open them up on this, and we're going to say, hey, this is what it is. So that's my task for you. So you got to give me a task. It can be about the Hobby Hoarders podcast. It can't be the website.
Hobby
thing, 'cause
Hoarders
that's cheating.
podcast TikTok, Sam.
How does that benefit us?
Because it's a new stream and it's a new place. You're talking about new places to promote yourself, creating a new social media platform, right? So you can.
Are you going to help me with that?
Yeah,
Because that's huge. That's not a little. Yours is a limited task that has so much stuff that needs done, and I'm giving you something that's not overwhelming you. You're asking me to go through 4-hour episodes and tag stuff. That is not comparative at all. It is something we need to do. I absolutely agree, and it's also it doesn't
have we got an Instagram?
No.
Instagram. Set up an Instagram. That's it. Just set it up.
Okay.
Set up an Instagram.
That's reasonable and achievable and something that we should be doing.
Yeah.
But then we both need to be logged in and I don't know somehow putting pictures up on these pictures.
I
created the Facebook group for the last time.
Set up the Instagram and stuff.
But we've had no joiners. Come on now. There's at least collectively from all of our ways that we listen, at least 100 of you are going to listen to this, in the different sources. So please, the Hobby Hoarders partially painted Facebook group where we're going to post about interesting things, what you want to chat about in the podcast. It's not Patreon. It's not Patreon at all. Patreon though, you can join anytime you like. You get an extra episode every single month, and you get an extra 30 minutes of every single episode as well. So you're getting at least 5 to 6 hours of extra content.
Yeah. I think
okay now. So we've done the assign one to each other. So now you got to do the harder one. Assign one to yourself. What is something that you're going to do? Not necessarily about Hobby Hoarders, but something about any. You've got so many things.
This is something I'm doing. I think I don't want to. I know what I'm like, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to give myself lots of tasks because they're not going to get done. And
This is a little task. Just a little task. So I'll go first then.
This is a little. See, this for me is something.
And that's going to feed into the Instagram, which is great. So that is something that we're going to be doing.
This is something I can feel like I can do and not stress out about too much. My problem is I overwhelm myself, and I don't want to overwhelm myself. I don't want to promise things to people and then not.
That's why I'm saying a little thing, not a big thing, a little thing. Take photos of all your stuff so you've got plenty of content to post on that, maybe.
Yeah, well, I can take.
So mine is going to be, I am going to reach out to 10 YouTubers that are bigger than me.
Yeah.
And either ask them for advice or cooperation. That's going to be my thing. I hate it. I don't want to do that. I hate bothering people. Like I said, even hashtags, I'm bad at. I hate doing them. It stresses me out. I hate bothering other people, even though I'll give anything. And this is just a definition of me as a person. When people give me gifts, I'm horrendously uncomfortable about it. I hate it. Like, I might love the gift, but I hate the experience, whereas I love giving to people.
Yeah,
it's just the type of person I am. So the idea of spamming people, like sending messages, so that's my thing. So your task for me was set up an Instagram. So all of you can follow us at the Hobby Hoarders podcast on Instagram. And my task will be to contact between 5 and 10 people, either to ask for collabs or advice. And I'm just going to guts it out.
Okay.
And I'll get back to you next week how that goes. And I'm so stressed about it already. But, that's going to help me grow. Oh, I'm also going to try and get the Expo pass. If not, I won't come back to you and ask you, because I think that is a good idea.
Yeah, man, you're doing yourself a mischief, especially in a tabletop gaming sort of.
Well, there's the aspect of what do I then turn it into? Because I always am thinking about, what do I make the videos on the ad, things. But
if you're at a convention, the convention videos are always organized.
Popular.
I'm here, and you could literally because they can tie into things that you're doing within
Yeah.
the site and stuff.
Or even just chatting about cool upcoming
Yeah, sort of
games.
like new paint, new types of paint. Your speed paint will here. Oh, here this is a new type of speed paint. This is new. Oh, have you checked this out? And blah blah blah. It's sort of it makes itself.
My friend Gwen, who I've been asking like when they can come visit, because they're having a baby soon, so they want to see our baby. We want to see them either before they have their baby or whatever. It's just mentioned me going, oh yeah, the 21st, 27th is probably the best. And I'm like, do you mean May or do you mean June? Because when is it in June?
It's start of June.
Okay, phew. So it's clearly not that they're talking about. What's this? This was a job lot. Oh, I'm not interested in that. Oh, I feel better already saying this because, like I said, it's hanging over me. Like I feel like this weekend is such a missed opportunity, but I definitely can't. Well, I mean, I already do this by hiding away from parents-in-law. To this, I can't like go now. Go to that weekend thing, and even then, it would be hard to get the tickets.
Yeah,
I'm not
but
prepared.
like I said, man, you go to
Expo.
UKGE. There's going to be a lot of people
Yeah.
there. Even Salute as well. If you can get a chance to go to Salute.
If we manage to do these two targets, it would be quite cool to do this on a regular, like just a little task from each other. Because I'm so much better like at giving other people. Like I said, I've been a manager in many different things, and I'm very good at like if you gave me your model, I could tell you how to improve it. If I took my own model, I wouldn't have a clue. I get overwhelmed. I look at it and I go, I have no idea how to improve this. This is why I want to do a video, and I know you don't want to do it, but I'll find someone else who wants to, who will paint the model as best they can. They send it to me, I send my model to them, and then they improve it. Like I think that'd be great. But you, of course, are getting chills just from thinking about it.
I mean, it gives me.
But we'll see. We'll see how you've done. So in 2 weeks, what are the two things you're going to do?
All right, so I'm going to help So I'm going to do the tags.
Uh-huh.
So you're going to send
Both
me
the hashtags and the tags. Yeah.
the tags. And
So have you never logged into our podcast? What about the Podbean one? Have you logged into that one?
Seriously, man, it's like
Like logging into them is overwhelming.
I like. This is very much a case of I am here
Yep.
to support and
Pretty
sort
face.
of do the thing, but I'm very much leaving its direction up to you to sort of kind of thing, because as soon as I start.
So at what point do I get to call myself the host and you're the
You can
guest?
you can call me the co-host or whatever you wish and stuff. And stuff like I don't sort of. In the end, man, I was in two minds about doing this in the first place because I knew it might overwhelm me and stuff, and I was just sort of like, because I knew my priorities were with Geek Pride and stuff.
I think the only thing at the moment that can overwhelm you is these. I think we have to be very careful to set clear boundaries, because now we've been doing it a couple of weeks, and that's twice where one of us hasn't managed. Like that big model one, I'm so impressed that you managed to do that. And maybe I could have done my model if my airbrush wasn't blooming broken, but doing it by brush is taking so long. I'm still working on it, but finishing it is just taking so long. So, I think it's very important that we set realistic goals for these kind of things. Even if it means, you've finished this, which, speaking of, we haven't actually spoken about these at all. We should probably talk about these. So, last fortnight's challenge was to design a diorama. So that might sound like quite a wimpy one compared to some of the big tasks we had. But as mentioned, we've struggled when we've chosen a task that was just too big. So this was just come up with the idea and create it. And you were already partially there because we discussed it in the past on the podcast about what you wanted to do. So what have you done? Do you want to describe, or shall I describe it? What do you fancy? Put on your description voice and tell me about it.
Okay, so we've talked about this. Anyway, click on a
oh yeah, nice
picture and
photo.
stuff. So.
And of course, you can also check it out on the Hobby Hoarders Instagram, where you can get nice high-res images of all of the current tasks and, of course, all the previous tasks. And please always tag them in, if you want to follow along with these challenges, please do. And remember, we've also created that Facebook group, the Hobby Hoarders Partially Painted group, where we've got about 30 members, I think. So please come and join us.
So, yes. I quite like dioramas. I feel like, I haven't done many, but I enjoy doing them because I feel like, it's something my dad was fond of, and I just feel like they just look cool. So, the death of Boromir, obviously Boromir is one of my favorite characters in Lord of the Rings, but Boromir,
and it's such a significant moment in the movies, where I think people underplay how significant it is.
Yeah, and it's, for me, it's just, and I saw, like, obviously Games Workshop did old metal figures of the death of Boromir. It was limited sort of kind of run, and I saw like I think you sent me a picture of a guy who had painted
Mm.
one, and it's like this wooden block, Boromir, Lurtz, and maybe there's like a couple of dead sort of Urks, um, and it's like. And I was like, that is so cool. I would
Yeah.
love to do that. I would love that. But we couldn't find sort of like, you said you looked for ages to
I'd
try.
looked for months at
Yeah.
this point trying to get it on YouTube.
And on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah, eBay. You're
They're
looking in the wrong
really
place.
difficult.
You were definitely looking in the wrong place.
But interestingly, YouTube became the biggest search engine at one point, didn't it?
All right, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even bigger than Google. It was getting more hits.
So I just on a whim was on eBay, and I went. Oh, he's not stuck on, but on a whim, I was like, Boromir, Death of Boromir, and he popped up,
It's hilarious.
and I was just like, holy shit! And then I went Lurtz with
Yeah.
bow and arrow. Yeah, he popped up, and then I found some metal Urks, Scout Urks, and I went, I could do this. I could do this.
Wait, was this before or after that we'd settled on the challenge?
Before and
Before.
stuff, and then it was just like I said, oh, we should do it because I've got the things now. I could do that, and so right, I think it was like I don't know, it's like 10 or 15 quid for the plinth, and then obviously the trees. I got sticks from the my local area. This sort of
It looks so natural. You've done such a good job.
this guy here I bought from eBay as well, but then it's cork. The stone.
He's pointing at one of the statues from Amun Sul,
Yeah,
Weathertop.
yeah. So, and the way I did this is now the one that is shown is just Boromir and Lurtz standing in leaves, and there's nothing. There's a couple of dead orcs. That's this. For me, I wanted to be kind of like the film.
Yeah.
I know, and in books he's sort of found by a tree, but in the film there's that bit where he's on his knees and Lurtz is sort of kind of standing there, and this is what this sort of kind of is. But in the film, he actually gets shot for the last time in front of this statue.
Is it that statue? I thought it was actually the bird one with the wings.
No, it's this statue here. So he's shot in front of this statue, but bad sort of not consistency. What's the word?
Continuity.
Bad continuity. Suddenly he's not on front of the statue. The statue's to his right, I think.
Is that Amun Hen?
Amun Hen, I think it is. Yeah. So the bad sort of say I think I've got a photograph of it. I took because one of my mates and
I didn't realize they released it as a Forge World piece.
oh yeah. There's
I was probably about hundreds of pounds.
One of my mates was like, well, didn't he get shot in front of a tree? And it's like he
got shot quite a few times.
He was shot, but it's like he is in the last part. But when he's initially shot, and I think I've got the photograph somewhere here, if I can show it to you.
I'm just like hearing the horn. Just
have I deleted it? No. Have I deleted it? I deleted that photograph. I think I have. Annoying.
Just have to watch the whole Lord of the Rings again.
Oh no, there it is. Right, look.
He's surrounded by so many dead orcs. You need way more dead orcs at this point. So he is. He dies in front of the statue.
So he's in front of that statue.
What? I do not remember that at all.
So that's the thing is the bad with the bad sort of
continuity. Yeah.
So that's the same statue. Look here.
Yeah. No.
So
you've absolutely nailed that.
So he dies in front of the statue, but the thing is, the continuity has him change where it is.
Yeah, because he dies next to a tree.
So it's beside sort of this. So I thought it was a lot more poetic for him being.
Hang on a minute. If you look in the background of this photo, I'll put it up on screen. Yeah. But can you see in the very back right? That's the statue again.
Exactly. So
but it's in the wrong place. Yeah,
it's in the wrong place. So
but he does fight more because he deflects arrows and stuff.
I know, but he just does this, and then it's like. But the thing is that he should be, for all intents and purposes, under that statue.
Yeah.
And that statue for me is quite a good focal point. So I was like, so I'm not going to do it for like where other people are showing it. And I was tempted to have the statue over to the right where his last position is in the film.
Yeah.
But I went, that's a very good focal point. It's the way the statue is. It's going to be literally.
It's sort of melancholic.
Yeah.
Like the
it's his final moments and stuff. Yeah. So you've got this sort of kind of old, it's an ancient sort of Gondorian sort of statue with a son of Gondor, and he's sort
Well,
of
it's also he's dying in the shadow of someone that would come after him, which he kind of led. I know everyone will say that Faramir
yeah,
lived in Boromir's shadow, so there is that sort of poeticness of he
yeah.
dies in someone else's shadow. But it was always a thing of the stewards of Gondor, certainly the sons of stewards of Gondor. They always had so much more. They thought they could have been the king of Gondor, but they were always waiting for someone else. So I think that's absolutely. I don't know if that's what they meant. I feel like you remember in high school how
Yeah.
they'd be like, "What did the author mean by this?" And you'd be like, "It meant nothing." We talk about Lord of the Rings. We're like, "There's so much meaning in this."
Yeah, so I sort of I wanted it something. I wanted the show because the other ones they didn't show the trees and he's in the forest. So
Yeah.
my thing here was that I was going to put more trees in, but I didn't want to overwhelm it.
Yep.
Again, I wanted to have more dead bodies because he kills. Even in the books.
Are you gonna put more in?
No, no, no.
Because in the movies he has so many. Like he has 20. Like
Yeah, it's
dead-
not. I don't. The thing is, I was tempted, and I think it's going to overwhelm it. So
Yeah.
I couldn't understand why in the other diorama there was only 2 dead orcs
Yeah.
beside him. I was like, well, he killed like at least 30 and stuff, and it's just like because it just not going to.
Well, in the movie, there's motion, isn't there, to draw your eyes to
Yeah.
the two characters?
Yeah.
Whereas in the diorama, there isn't that.
Yeah. So in this, I was.
You
I've
could
got,
paint some up extra and have them like, and then try it afterwards if you want
Yeah,
to.
I could maybe.
But
sort of
I think you've
push
done a
some
nice
on top
job.
of each other.
How many have you got at the moment? Just
There's only 3
Three.
and alerts and stuff. And the problem is with getting them to pose. And like technically, this guy annoys me slightly because he's a Helm's Deep Uruk, and these two are
You're the kind of nerd that gives nerds a bad name.
So these are
Come on.
these are Scout Uruk, so they've got different armor and stuff. They
Yeah.
don't have the helmets and
Is
stuff.
this the plastic one? That's
and
the
it's the
random one?
plastic one is the thing. So technically, and that's why he's face down.
Yep.
Because it kind of looks a bit like the stuff from back. Obviously, the helmet's slightly off because the helmet they don't have the helmet. They have the skull caps and stuff.
Fucking nerd.
Um, but they're metal, and the way they're posed is so hard to
Yeah.
get them.
Do you have
to
any
look-
other metal ones?
I've got some other, but they're
Yeah.
all really bad. The poses are like they're in
Right.
this like sort of mid jog
Yeah.
or thing, and that's why, as you can see, they're always propped up on a piece of scenery, so it makes it feel like their legs are
Ah.
that way for
So a lot of
reasons.
thought has
So
gone into your layout.
It makes it reasonable for them to be like that, so they're not just lying there like this.
So you've been painting this for the last 2 weeks because you can tell that you've done a really good job. What do you mean no?
No,
When did you start painting that?
last night?
You started painting it last night
Last
and it
night.
made it look like that.
Last night.
It's
yeah.
an absolutely incredible job. Like, if you are listening to the podcast, please do click on the link below so you can see photos of this. It's just a link to a OneDrive. You don't need to worry about anything like that. But it's very, very cool.
Yeah. So when I sent you that photograph is when I did because that was a couple of days ago.
Or check it out on Instagram.
Yeah,
actually.
a couple of days ago. So I literally just put the cork on.
Yeah, it was Boromir and a cork.
Yeah, I put cork on. Yesterday day, I added these after I've been on a walk. I put those in. And then I started doing the thing. So you've got one down face down. You've got one lost an arm. There's a severed head just there. And then obviously lost his head there.
One, and I don't mean this is not a joke at all, is I've always wondered, have you ever checked yourself maybe for a little bit of bipolarism almost? Like a very mild case, because something about your personality trait, and it could be related to your ADHD, is you often sometimes have like almost mania, and then I can't remember what the other one is, like the drops. Because this, you got in the groove of it, you got obsessed. You know, it could be you just get on a roll, but you do this a lot. You seem to do it with everything.
It's the ADHD.
Because what time were you
thing.
working till on that?
3 o'clock in the morning.
3 a.m. Yeah,
3 a.m.
knowing that you had to be up for
9 o'clock. Yeah, so I've had well, I wouldn't say 6 hours sleep
yeah,
because the dog and cat
faffer and it, so,
and
yeah.
stuff. But no, so it was just I got into sort of because it's hyper focus, and that's that. I'm not diagnosed ADHD, but I am 99.9% sure I have it and stuff because there's hyper focus and things.
It doesn't cost that much to get yourself tested officially.
Well, one of my friends
you
has
know.
just done it recently, and because he's got he struggled with it a lot, and he's the same. He will hyper focus on something. He's good at loads of stuff. But he hyper focus on does it to like, and then he moves on really quickly. So he's like
Well,
me.
my friend that I just mentioned a little bit ago, she got diagnosed with that and with autism.
Okay.
And people are like, oh no, she's now got autism. She always had autism. The difference is now she can point out to companies when there's a problem and go, well, unfortunately,
Yeah.
this is how it is. So I would get yourself tested. You know, there's nothing ever to be
Thing is,
ashamed
I don't
of.
know. The only thing that would change is they may give me medication, and I don't want medication.
You don't have to take the medication, but you can also say then to companies and like point out, you know, that you do have this,
Yeah.
and then they get to check a little box for inclusion, so they'll love it.
Yeah, I understand that, but you know, it is a hyper focus thing.
But sorry, to get back to the
Yeah, so it's a hyper focus thing, and it's a good thing and it's a bad thing because I can literally just sort of zone in on something, and that will be my main drive for things. So I can do things quite quickly when I'm sort of in them, and then it's the fact is I move on, so I'm not finishing off this guy's claws and stuff. So that didn't,
which is fine. I don't think you should feel bad about that
Yeah.
not being finished to the standard you want.
And this here is literally just
So what percentage better than unpainted is that? Million.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good, but it's, you know, I'm happy with it. And
I hope we do finish this though. Like,
Oh, yeah, no,
especially considering. I should point out the challenge was to have chosen this topic, got the parts for the topic, and put it together. This wanker decided to try and get some extra points by painting it. So now, have you got a photo of it at least unpainted? You're such a dick. Because now if I put up the poll, obviously yours is going to win because yours is at the next stage of the competition.
Let me check. I've got.
Maybe this would just have to be a vote after 4 weeks instead of 2.
This is the photograph of it with it sort of kind of mud and sort of with the trees on it. And
Maybe we could Photoshop the minis into it.
Because I haven't added the minis onto it and stuff. And then there was obviously that was it. That was the photograph I sent you, just the cork and sort of a thing.
Yeah. If
And
you send me both those photos, I'll be able to put them together so I can make a mock-up,
Yeah.
so that our vote can actually be a bit fairer. Because right now, of course, you win. It looks gorgeous, and you haven't even painted the models. But my next question, I don't want to plant a seed of doubt just so I can win next fortnight's competition. Sorry. How are you feeling about painting the models, knowing that you have freaking knocked it out of the park for the diorama? How are you feeling about painting the models?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
No fear there?
No, because
Seed.
you know, because again, there's still bits I need to do on the diorama itself. So I need to sort of put a little bit more grass, because the idea is the dead leaves and stuff are sort of like darkness of death sort of creeping on him and stuff, and he's within the grass area because
oh my god,
he's
you need to write a blog post about this. Like, the Instagram page has to have a nice long one.
As you can see, so he's on the grassed area with some dead leaves around him because he's dying and stuff. So the grass is sort of there because he's still alive. And
is that in the movies as well, or is this just something
that's
you've
just
decided?
That's me.
That's amazing.
In the films, it's just sort of there's no nuance to it and stuff like that. For me, it was the sort of the dead leaves were death creeping up on him and stuff, so you can see the dead leaves are surrounding him.
Knowing that, I'm tempted to do an even brighter highlight just on the ground around him.
Yeah,
like as if there's a beam of light coming down.
So I'm gonna sort of, you know, there's gonna be a bit more sort of highlights, a bit more weathering within the rock. I would need to put a bit of wash in it and stuff. I'm gonna clean up, use some strippers to get ethanol to get rid of the sort of paint that's come around the side, so it's like that. Might highlight sort of this sort of like dry stuff. Put a few bits of either. I don't like model moss. It looks fake. I hate it, so I don't use it. I've got lots of items and don't use it, so I'll get something that maybe makes the trees look like they've got some stuff coming out of it. Painting the Uruks isn't going to be too hard, I don't think, because they are mainly black and dark browns.
Yep.
Maybe with a highlight.
And they're not the focals, so they should be quite dark.
Boromir, because that's why he's come off, and Lurtz, I'm going to spend him, because Lurtz, I think was going to be a problem with Lurtz is his face, the white hand of Sauron. Saruman, yes, sorry, Saruman. And maybe doing the details on Boromir's surcoat.
This will be tricky. I'm not going to lie, I don't envy this task because both subjects are dark.
Yeah.
Boromir's skin is probably the lightest thing on him because he's all dark. So he's got a little bit of red somewhere, maybe a little bit of green. Yeah. And Lurtz, even the skin color, that lovely reddish brown.
But the thing is, with that, I'm not too fussed with his skin tone and stuff because it's very dark
Yeah.
with a highlight of a bit of a sort of kind of reddy brown over the
Yeah.
top of it. So I think I can do that. I don't think it's going to be because he's mainly
Boromir wants to be the brightest thing.
yeah. So
He's the
it's gonna have
focus.
like this bit's going to be red, and this one's going to be sort of kind of
Mhm.
this is chainmail. And there's the thing is there is a bit of yellow or gold sort of lacing sort of
Filigree, yeah.
filigree, yeah, it's a good one around there and stuff. So he's going to be the hardest one to do. But I think when he's done, it's going to be like I think I'll be quite
It
proud of that.
looks amazing already. It looks amazing already.
Yeah, so it's just a few bits and pieces. And again,
Is this going to be what we're going to do for the next 2 weeks, or do you need
yeah,
a break from it?
no, I'll do that. I'll finish them off. I want to finish it off. It's just sort of
The Friday night before the next
yeah.
podcast.
Well, that's it. It is, I think, and that helps because I know you're turning up and I know I have to do something.
Yeah.
And again, it wasn't like I was intentionally doing it just to one-upmanship you and stuff. It was literally I was
You were
sitting
in
there
the
with
move.
nothing better to do.
Yeah.
I thought and I was going to leave it just as the cork, and I went, I'm talking. I was on the phone at the time. I was like, I'll just use that sort of the mud stuff, and while I'm talking, and I'll do that. So I did that, and I went, it's dried now. I might as well
Yeah.
just dry brush the main dark color on
Yeah.
it. No, that's what I did. I sprayed these guys. I'd said I'm going to stick the main Urks on there because I can just paint them when they're on it like that.
Yep.
That's part of the scenery, and I'll take these ones off. I'll just do the black spray on them. So I black sprayed them and went, so I'll spray the whole thing black, and then I went, I might as well just dry brush the sort of black so it's got the thing. You know, it's not overdoing it. It's just going to be the main dry brush. Then I went, I'll just do a quick highlight. Then I'll do another highlight.
It's funny because it's like what you get with a video game where it's just one more, one
yeah,
more, one
and it's
more.
just sort of kind of progress, and then
Or recording this podcast at 2 hours and 30 minutes, just a bit more, just a bit more,
yeah,
just a bit more.
and you just sort of like it just sort of
Well, we're going to be coming back to this and discussing it next week in more detail. I mean, you've probably given us way more already. You've given us such a soul on that, which I feel is a bit of a dick move because now I'm going to talk about my model and I can't compete with that because yours is already partially of the way there. So it just means that you can't do your big spiel next week.
yeah.
Which is, it's both fantastic to see it because it's just so gorgeous, but it's also really freaking annoying that you started painting it.
Sorry.
So mine is a kind of like an ode to how I feel about 40k, and we discussed it in a previous podcast where I love 40k. I love the lore. I love the models. I love the interaction. I love everything apart from playing the game. And this kind of epitomizes one of those things for me. I think I sent you the picture. Do you need a reminder? Do you remember what the picture
Oh,
is?
I know the picture. Yeah.
You know the picture.
I know
Very,
the
very
picture very
famous.
well.
It's the Emperor confronting Horus, and it's at that moment you can see where the Emperor is like reaching out. His sword is down, his heart is bared. See, I can also make shut up about my diorama as well. Where that realization is just coming. I believe the very famous picture, which again I'll put a link and it's on screen at the moment. Now I'll even put it on the Instagram. But it's that moment where just before the guardsman comes in and Horus obliterates the guardsman, pushing the Emperor over the edge. Because even at the point where Sanguinius is lying, spoilers, is lying at the feet of the Emperor still saw his chosen son. He still believed that Horus could be saved. And it was actually the guardsman who gets obliterated that pushes him over the edge. You're looking at me like that's not the
Is
way
that
it
old
happens.
canon, or because obviously they're not at that point? I know they're.
Oh, I don't know anymore.
I don't
because
think.
you're reading the Horus Heresy, of
Yeah, I
course.
don't
I'm going
think
off the previous flush.
So there's a lot of changes for the sort of the whole encounter and stuff. This is iconic. This is
Yeah.
iconic. Like I just, you know.
And that's why I chose it. The emotion that I feel when I look at that.
Do you know
piece.
the old sort of war? You know, it's in Warhammer world. The old diorama. You know, with the
with the blocky
he's
models.
he's a white. He's got white armor instead.
Well,
of
that's
gold
what
and
I'm
stuff.
talking about. So one of the things that I'm considering doing, and I discussed it, but I think we've decided probably not, was to do him half in white with like a sort of a, that gradual fade with the black on the other side.
No. So obviously, because obviously he used to be a Luna Wolf,
Yeah.
and then he turns into the
Sons of Horus.
Son of Horus,
Which I actually painted. Have I ever shown you my Horus that I painted in the Sons of Horus colours?
yeah, that's,
I really like that.
Yes.
I tried to buy it back, but the guy wouldn't sell it.
The old model, the old Warhammer model that's in Warhammer world, the Emperor was in white.
He looks almost like he's in a Deathwing.
Yeah, he looks like
in a
he's
way.
just a converted Terminator.
Yeah.
Old school Terminator.
And it's got the stained glass window in the background. I think,
yeah.
which is weird because it's meant to be on the bridge of Horus's flagship.
like that could be the Forge World model. I hope like they bring something like that out.
Oh
sort of,
yeah,
like
definitely.
I've just meaning like as soon as you showed me, I was like, oh man, so many memories. That is just gonna be when it's painted. It's just gonna be so beautiful and stuff.
Yeah.
I just think you need a slightly bigger plinth.
Yeah, this is one of the sort of fundamental differences between you and I. You went out and bought a really nice plinth. I scrabbled around and found what I had in the house
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't
They're
know.
not that
I have
expensive. They're not that expensive.
I know I have this thing with money and like I just
Really?
always weighs in my
You
head.
showed me your thing.
I know, and that's what gives me a thing with money. That's why I get so panicked because how many of that was luxuries?
I know, but how much did you
That's the
spend
thing.
on these guys though?
The individual pieces were a tenner each,
Yeah.
and then the main piece was £30 commissioned.
You're looking maybe 10 quid for another plinth, an extra tenner for a bigger plinth.
Maybe.
Thing
Maybe.
is,
But I
man,
thought the shape was quite nice because
it
if I
is.
put horse on the other side,
My annoyance
the
is
stepped up
it's not annoying. Sorry, man. It's this fact that it's just too big for that plinth.
I don't really understand why. That's why
Because
I don't really
it's
understand.
because you're.
Because he's sort of going to be stepping up to it, and then he's already
I
standing
know,
on
but
it.
it's just about frame. It's like it's like photography.
Mm,
It's about framing. You are framing a picture of a
mm.
situation. And if something's slightly off, so you have the rule of thirds in photography. So you have sort of things have to be framed in
He's
certain.
about to yell at me again. This is going to be the tailing off I got for. How do you not know this? For salute in UK Games Expo.
Yeah, so it's the same. It's about framing. You are effectively taking a photograph of a moment there, right? The plinth is the picture frame. Now, if you had a picture in a frame, would you have anything at the very top corner, or would it have a nice border and sort of like, if you look at any of the paintings I have
You're saying
upstairs,
because they've got an even amount of spacing
so
around them.
it's even and it's sort of it's
I
sort
like
of
the weird shape though.
thing is you could have like this here could be these steps, so you could incorporate this into something on a bigger plinth, so you
See
can
your big plinth over.
Yeah.
Can that fit on top? Again, I don't know if I fully described it. So it's the Emperor on the bridge of Horus's flagship.
you can get ones that are oval shaped.
Yeah, I
you can
might see
get
if I
slightly
can do
big,
that.
but you could have bear in mind, let's say this was slightly bigger,
Mm.
but you would have something like this shape just slightly more out, so you would have these like steps, but you would have this. So if you look at this, you have this sort of border around it and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not pushing off, it's not going anywhere, it's framing that picture.
Yeah. And it does look very nice.
And
Fine. I'll see if I can get another
so
plinth.
I just think it adds to it. Whereas
Yeah.
that it's like it's nice,
Yep.
but you could set it off
Go better.
with a better,
Mm.
but with a better frame, and it's just framing. It's just a thing that I've learned from photography and stuff. You have to sort of frame them well.
Right, so that's the plan then for the next 2 weeks. And if any of you want to join in, you can still catch up. Send us photos of your unpainted one, and then send us photos of your painted one. We will give you a shout out. Obviously, please do include any of your links that you want to be shouted out at. You can catch us on the Facebook group, Hobby Hoarders Partially Painted. You can check us on the Instagram, Hobby Hoarders Podcast, or you can catch us at our email address. That would be hobbyhoarders@gmail.com. You can send us some photos to that as well.
Got one more thing about.
You've got more thing.
One more thing that I'm going to.
Exciting. He's extending the podcast even further.
I know. I'm just
spoiled this week. You guys are.
I haven't done it yet, but
You don't want to leave it for a surprise?
No, it's not gonna be anything that's gonna happen soon. When Boz does eventually die,
oh my god,
I'm going to cut out the that and ashes inside it.
Really? Oh wow. Are you not tempted to drill up from the bottom, maybe?
No, because it's going to be underneath the statue and stuff. I was going to have.
I mean, he's a big dog. I don't think you could.
I'm not going to do the whole thing, but it's like when he does eventually go.
I mean, could you get like one of those little mini braziers, like have a brazier burning underneath it?
No, I don't want to. I just sort of. I was tempted, sort of, because I did with my father's. I did a thing for my father. I used his ashes as part of the sort of. I used it with the PVA glue and stuff, so it was his ashes were a part of the model itself and stuff like that.
I meant to ask you about that. Does your mum know about that?
Yeah.
I just can't imagine how I would react if someone said I was using PVA and
no,
ashes.
but I was just like,
I understand that the sentiment behind it, but it's also when you describe it like that,
I'm all about
so
sentiment.
clinically.
But again,
big
in this
fluffy
one,
teddy
I
bear.
was gonna have like I was gonna cut out, and I might still do it. I was gonna cut out a square where Boromir is, and then I could lift it up, and then his ashes could
Oh,
go
underneath Boromir.
underneath
That's a great
Boromir,
idea.
and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
so his ashes would be in there.
The
Or I was
sooner
gonna
you
use it,
do it, the sooner you can.
yeah. But because so it is something I've got in my mind. Like, and Touchwood Balls is going to be around for a long time now and stuff. But it's just something,
I'd be tempted to see if you could get a little box that would fit underneath the statue, so
Yeah,
you could lift the statue out and
yeah,
even
well,
magnetize it and have a little box, because that
possibly.
way
Yeah.
you don't have to damage the original thing,
But the thing is,
and it's
it's not
also
even. I don't
nice.
even need to see it as long as it's in there
That's what I'm
and
saying.
stuff.
So
Yeah,
underneath the statue,
yeah. So
all you need is a sharp scalpel. Just go round about it and then just blend it back in.
yeah. Well, that's it. I could do that, and I might do that. And it would just be sort of like so my favorite character, my dog, are sort of all sort of there and stuff, and I get
There you
sort
go,
of.
Salem Sabrina. I'm going to take your ashes, and I'm going. No, it has nothing to do with this. No, that's a really nice sentiment. I mean, it's the who he's named after as well. It's
Yeah,
really sweet. Oh my
a
goodness.
lot of thought. Oh, that's my neighbor. Last, so basically last night, like 2 o'clock. One of the reasons I was still up as well.
Yeah.
I was doing the model, but he come home pissed, and he brought his girlfriend home with him.
Yep.
It's like we'll come back to mine and stuff. But he left his keys in.
Right.
He left his keys in the house and couldn't get in.
Oh
I
no.
said, "Oh, can you go around the back?" No, I can't. But he had to break his own window
Oh
to
jeez.
get in, and his girlfriend had to sort of come in through the window to get in to get the keys and stuff. So I'm standing there at like 2 in the morning,
Ouch.
like watching him break into his own house.
My next door neighbor had something similar where she came round and she goes, "Could you kick my back door in?" That's a moment every man has been waiting
Especially
for.
every Scottish man as
It
well.
took one kick to find out where the bolt was, and another kick to shatter it from the frame, which is a testament to it wasn't a very good door, but it felt like a really good kick.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause when you first do something, like whether it's squeezing a spot or stomping on something or doing something, and it doesn't work the first time, it kind of hurts. But then when you get that second one and like all the energy goes through, it feels amazing. I was like, yes, yes. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, listening, sharing, liking, whatever it is that you're doing. We really appreciate it. We love doing this and knowing that other people enjoy it as well. Just let us know in the comments. We absolutely love getting comments, shares, emails, all of that good stuff. But otherwise, do all of that, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for the next one. Bye.
Bye bye.